What up? What up? It's your boy Ola with Ola TV, and on this edition, we're going to be go ahead and covering the July 18, 2022 Monday Night Raw. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment. Here we go. All right, you guys. This is Ola here with Ola TV. Thank you so much for tuning in on this edition of Monday Night Raw. Looks like starting off the show, kicking off the show was Titus O'Neil. But before we get to that intro, right now Becky Lynch is on the way to the ring right now. I don't know if she's gonna be in the actual match because she's not dressed up in ring attire. She's coming out with a nice pair of red shades, came out dressed up, looking fine. So I'm guessing she is just out here to talk more smack. Thank you for tuning in. Big time Becky Lynch is in the ring right now, getting ready to speak. So the show started off with Titus O'Neil. I'm not sure exactly what the message was regarding, but he came out talking about that he is now considered, I guess, the global ambassador for WWE, and he also came out stating that WWE doesn't typically talk about politics because it is a place of fun, a safe haven for the world, and it's a place that doesn't normally deal with politics. So Titus O'Neil opened the show tonight. This show is being hosted in Tampa, Florida, and Titus O'Neil is actually a Tampa, Florida native. But I found it kind of strange and weird and different that he just came out of nowhere talking about that WWE is a safe haven and doesn't talk politics. So I'm wondering what exactly occurred in reference to politics and in relation to WWE, where Titus O'Neil made that announcement to say that, the WWE is a place to be safe, it's a place for fun, it's a place, for excitement, and it's not a place for politics. So I'm very intrigued about that. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research to figure out what was the intent and the message, behind Titus O'Neil providing that speech to start off the Raw, segment here in the intro for the opening segment of the night. Now we've got let me see, we've got Becky Lynch now on the microphone. So Becky Lynch in the ring right now, she's just talking a whole bunch of smack to the crowd again, that she's going to be the next champ, that she deserves to be the champ, her usual routine right now. So I'm assuming in a few minutes she's going to end up getting interrupted by someone because she's doing a whole lot of smack talk right now. And if you're just tuning in, this WWE Raw live stream is going to be based on all the matches, the controversies, the outcomes. So I'll be giving you the play by play on everything that's going on. So far, there hasn't been any matches started just yet, only the speech by Titus O'Neil. And now you have Becky Lynch doing her own segment where she's just ranting off about being the next women's champ. And it looks like Bianca Belair just came out looking to interrupt and provide her own words as far as what the championship is concerned. I'll tell you what, every week Bianca Belair has like a new outfit where she looks absolutely sensational. Got to be one of the hottest WWE champions in a long time, of all time. Who right now, Becky backing up and Bianca Belair is starting to rebuttal what she was saying before and talking smack to Becky Lynch now. Becky Lynch is not dressed up right now to get into a fight, but EST, aka Bianca Belair, is ready to fight. Ooh, Bianca saying that this is not gonna be the. So Bianca Belair says that this is not going to be the Becky Lynch comeback story from this year of WrestleMania, except this is going to be the comeback of herself, Bianca Belair, from the story that started last year for last year's WrestleMania. So she's saying she's going to continue to be on the top of the mountain. She's going to continue to be the same champ that she's always been, and that Becky Lynch is never taking the title from her. Becky right now looking pissed off, not very happy with the words that Bianca Belair has to say about Bianca saying that she's going to continue to be at the top of the mountain. Bianca right now raising the title, the crowd giving her a sitting ovation, clapping their hands to everything that EST has to say. Bianca Belair says that um, she's gonna basically kick Becky Lynch's ass, but she used it in a very peasing type of way, very PG-13 type of way. She says, "I'm gonna kick your caboose all the way back to Ireland at SummerSlam." Oh shit! Now we got an interruption by Carmella. Now Carmella's coming to the ring to talk smack. Carmella says she's a badass with a great ass. I'm not gonna lie, Carmella is cute though, but Bianca Belair is on another level as far as championship reign, looks, charisma, all of that. Carmella's over here talking about that Bianca Belair had to take shortcuts as far as the title was concerned. Oh, because she's referring to what happened was last week. Bianca Belair was defending her title against Carmella. Bianca Belair ended up getting counted out, and because she got counted out, that was like the chicken way out to retain her title. Belair started talking more smack, and then she gets ambushed by Becky Lynch, and then Carmella joins in on the attack. So 2-on-1 right now, attack mode. Ooh, EST gets up, and now she's putting the handles on both women. Now they're starting to get the slight advantage, but it looks like, oh, damn. Becky Lynch lands the Becky Slam, aka the Rock Bottom, on Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair is planted out. Damn. Well, there it is. So to start off the July 18 WWE Raw for tonight, those are the two things so far. You have um, Titus O'Neil making a speech in the beginning, basically stating that WWE is not a place for politics, and it is a safe haven, and it is just a place for fun and entertainment. And also announcing that he's supposedly the alleged global ambassador for WWE. And then you have this segment right now with Becky Lynch coming out, patting herself on the back, talking a lot of smack. Then she gets interrupted by Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair rebuttals everything that Becky Lynch stated. And then from there, Carmella comes out and talks smack about Bianca Belair taking the easy route to retain her title on last week's Raw because she got counted out. In reality, she did not take the easy way out because she got counted out due to the distraction of Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch getting involved in that match is what caused the count out, not Bianca Belair purposely wanting to get counted out. So yeah, Carmella was off on her smack talk. However, then after all the shit talking, it was a 2-on-1. They started to attack EST from behind. Bianca started to get the advantage back on her side. Then eventually both of the other two girls, Carmella and Becky Lynch started to take advantage, and then Becky Lynch lands her finisher, which I call the rock bottom, but uh, I think they call it the Becky Big Time or whatever the hell her finisher is called. So looks like that's going to be the two segments to open Raw for tonight. Now it's on commercial break. Just waiting for the matches to get started. But so far, it's just been a whole lot of talking to start Raw. Now, granted, the talking, of course, from the women made sense, but the Titus O'Neil trash talking earlier, I'm not exactly sure what he was referring to when he says WWE is not a political place. So I'm wondering, I'm about to Google right now and see if WWE has had some type of political issues with something. I don't know if it's regarding. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me look up online. Maybe it has something to do with WWE not fighting back regarding uh Roe versus Wade, because that got overturned not too long ago. So maybe they are talking about that. I'm not sure. It's weird. Let me see. I'm gonna look up why did Titus O'Neil talk about politics? I'm not sure if that's gonna pull anything up. Okay, I think let me see if this is it. Not actually, no, this is an older one. I thought this was it. I thought maybe the Titus O'Neil segment had something to do with mm, maybe something, maybe something racial, maybe something else. No, none of these are showing it. Well, anyways, back to the action. We've got Carmella versus Bianca Belair. Oh, and Bianca Belair is putting the title on the line again for 2 weeks in a row against Carmella. Well, Carmella has gotten another title shot, and many would say she does not deserve having two title shots back to back on both last week's Raw and tonight's Raw. But nonetheless, Bianca Belair has stated that she's a she's a fighting champ and she's going to prove herself. Oh wow, the stipulation added into this match for the title is that if Bianca Belair gets counted out, it it's gonna result in the title changing hands. So Carmella can win the title by the normal pinfall, the normal submission, and by count out. So count out will cost the title this week. Carmella gets what she wants, and I guess Bianca Belair decided to accept the stipulation. So Bianca Belair has to win this match tonight. She cannot escape this match tonight by getting counted out the way that it happened last week. I'm wondering what did Carmella do exactly to be able to not only earn the stipulation but earn 2 weeks in a row of a WWE Raw Women's Championship title fight? Because to be honest, I don't see Carmella as being the top, even in the top five best women that Raw has to offer. So it's kind of odd that she got a title shot last week and Becky Lynch did it, and also she gets another title shot this week. I almost think that this match is going to end up resulting in something where it's going to end up being a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Look, Becky Lynch trying to distract Belair again, just like she did last week. Belair says, get out of here. But Becky Lynch trying to almost cost her the match again. Oh, shit. EST was about to go for the KOD on the outside of the ring. It gets reversed by Carmella, and Carmella ends up pulling Bianca Belair with her foot, and Bianca Belair goes face first into the ring post. The referee starts going for a 10 count, but Belair gets into the ring in time so that she doesn't get counted out. Because, again, one of the stipulations is that if Bianca Belair loses the title, loses the match tonight by count out, she will lose the title, even though regular official rules is that if she gets counted out, she retains. Tonight is not the situation. Stipulation will be in full effect, where if Bianca Belair gets counted out, she will lose the Raw Women's title. That is a stipulation that has been added in tonight's match that is different from last week's match. Carmella's trying to do whatever she can to attack Belair on the outside and then throw her as far away from the ring as she can so that Bianca Belair is not able to get in the ring in time so that she can risk getting counted out. And then therefore Carmella would end up becoming the new champ. So she's being very strategic with everything that she's doing right now. Oh, Bianca Belair goes to do something off the third turnbuckle, and Carmella catches her feet. She throws Bianca Belair over the third rope. Bianca Belair lands face first onto the stairs. The referee is counting. It's 8-second count so far. Oh shit! Bianca Belair is about to get counted out. Ooh, she makes it into the ring around the 9 count. Oh shit! I thought she was actually gonna lose the title tonight by count out. Came close. She was just laying there for a long time, like she wasn't even gonna come into the ring. So right now, looks like Bianca Belair has got the rules stacked against her to some degree, and Carmella taking full advantage of this special stipulation added to this match. Right now, it's on a current commercial break, but yeah, the match is still going on. Bianca Belair almost gets counted out. It went to about an 8 or 9 count, and she wasn't even moving at first. And then all of a sudden, she hops up and rolls her ass back into the ring. And Carmella looks frustrated. And then Becky Lynch also looks pissed off. I have no idea why Becky Lynch has been allowed at ringside again, considering the fact that she's the one that actually cost Bianca Belair the match last week. Uh, when there was the Raw's Women's title on the line against Carmella. So that should have been something they should have added to the rules as well, is that Becky Lynch should have been um, barred from ringside. But not the case. So Belair has everything literally stacked against her. If she loses by countout, she loses the title. And then you have Becky Lynch on the sidelines by the commentators table, basically distracting and assisting Carmella to see if Carmella could win the title tonight. Of course, I highly doubt that titles are going to change hand on Raw. That rarely happens anymore. And to be honest, they're not going to do that with Bianca Belair. But there has been a few moments during this match where it looks really, really close, and it almost looks like Bianca Belair was about to get counted out because it was an 8 or 9 count, and it was like she was almost nowhere to be found inside of the ring. Right now, it's currently on commercial break, so just waiting for it Raw to come back so that I can go ahead and give you the updates of what's going on so far on the match. But a very interesting match, and interesting that Bianca Belair decided to accept the stipulations, especially knowing that Becky Lynch is going to be on the outside trying to cause the same result that happened last week. You know what I'm saying? So surprised that she took this option because it's a lot stacked against her to lose this title before SummerSlam. And by the way, guys, SummerSlam is going to be hosted in Nashville, Tennessee. I have a ticket to go to SummerSlam, so I'm going to be recording some behind the scenes footage. So for SummerSlam, I will not be hosting. More than likely, I'm not going to be hosting any type of a live stream for the SummerSlam because I will be there live and in person in Nashville, Tennessee. However, what I will be doing, if you are a Patreon member of mine at patreon.com/OLATV, then what I'll do is I'll give access to the behind the scenes once I get all that footage recorded and I get it, you know, updated, edited, and all that stuff. I'll be posting it to patreon.com for those who want to get back behind the scenes access. So make sure you subscribe, patreon.com/OLATV to get behind the scenes footage of me enjoying SummerSlam in Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, so Carmella started to pull Bianca Belair's hair. Bianca ends up reversing and throws Carmella to the opposite turnbuckle. Now she's on top of the second ropes, punching the top of the head of Carmella. Does a backflip. Carmella goes running towards Bianca, and then Bianca throws a big time fist to Carmella's face. Bianca does a couple of flips off the ropes, goes for a pinfall, and unfortunately, it's going to be just a 2 count. Right now, big time Becky Lynch getting absolutely frustrated at the fact that uh, Carmella is not taking care of business right now. Bianca picks up Carmella, and Carmella ends up reversing. Carmella throws Bianca to the mat, goes for a pinfall, puts her feet on the ropes, tries to cheat to get the victory. Bianca kicks out. Carmella goes and takes down Bianca again and goes for another pin again, and it's going to be another kick out. Right now, Bianca is climbing to the top, has Carmella on the turnbuckle on the second rope. EST does a backflip again off the rope. Carmella jumps body to body. Bianca catches her midair, pulls her up. Ooh, pulls her up nasty and catches her on a nice vertical suplex. Big time Becky talking a lot of smack that she's beaten Carmella. She's handled Bianca in the past, and she's talking about she thinks Bianca is the dumbest women's wrestler, and talking smack when one of the commentators stated that Bianca's strength is currently handling Carmella, and says that Bianca has been handled like that in the past. Carmella right now smacking Bianca in the face a couple times. Bianca right now getting pissed off, starting to get up. Talking about those smacks don't even hurt. Ooh, but then Carmella plants a nasty smack on Bianca that actually landed. Oh shit. Carmella catches the KOD. And it's over. Bianca Belair retains, and Bianca will still be the Raw Women's Champ. Big time Becky gets up from her chair, pissed off that Bianca retained the Raw Women's Championship tonight against Carmella. And unfortunately, the extra stipulation will not help Carmella to win the title. Oh, and big time Becky now picking up the Raw title, showboating with the title as if the title belongs to her when it doesn't, and it belongs to Bianca Belair. Big time Becky over here acting like the title belongs to her when it actually does not. Oh, she goes to hand it off to Belair and drops it on the floor. Talking a whole bunch of smack. Big time Becky right now trying to play mind games with Belair. And Belair's like, nah, this ain't your title, baby. This mine. Well, it looks like for SummerSlam, it's going to be Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's Championship against big time Becky Lynch. So now Becky Lynch can stop crying and stop pleading for a title. It looks like that's what's going to be the official match on the SummerSlam card. Right now is a recap and a flashback of SmackDown, showing the recap between Street Profits and the Usos, where Angelo plants, I believe it's Jimmy Uso for the finisher, which rolls into a pin, gets the 3 count. But they said that this is controversial because the Usos lost the same exact way that the Street Profits had lost in Money in the Bank, which was getting pinned, but both arms were not on the mat. So because these two teams have faced off, and both have resulted in a situation where one team has defeated the other in a controversial fashion. They decided to get a special guest referee. I thought the special guest referee was going to be Mick Foley. I thought they were going to maybe surprise us with a return for Mick Foley. He's been a special guest referee in the past, but they didn't do that. They also did not give R-Truth the special guest referee opportunity. So it looks like Jeff Jarrett was the one that was announced. Angelo right now talking a whole lot of smack, saying the JEFFJARRETT, aka Double J, Jeff Jarrett, is gonna be out there making sure that nobody acts like a slapnuts, nobody gets out of line, and if they do, they're gonna get smacked with the guitar across their back. And he says more than likely it's gonna be the Usos that catch the guitars on their back. Oh, brother. Now MVP shows up when the Street Profits are talking smack, shows up with omos. MVP over here talking smack about what Omos did to the Street Profits last week when it was the 3-on-3 match. Angelo came out and says that MVP, if he's got a lot of shit to talk and wants to smoke, he should tag up with his boy Omos and make it a tag team match. MVP says he's not dressed to get in the ring, because he's suited up basically. So he says he's going to find Omos a tag team partner to take on the Street Profits tonight. All right, moving on to the next segment of Raw, we've got KO, Kevin Owens coming out. Looks like KO is going to have his segment of the KO show. Special guest that he's going to have on his KO show coming up next is going to be Riddle, a.k.a. Broski. Man, oh man, SummerSlam is coming real quick. It's only 2 weekends away. I can't even believe it. I'll be honest, man. I hope Roman Reigns retains the title against Brock Lesnar. I'm not a Roman Reigns fan, but I'll tell you this. If I had to pick which guy I hate more with the title, it'll be Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is an absolute, I don't know. To me, he's just a shitty champion, man. Doesn't have any charisma, doesn't have any mic skills. Um, he's not as quick as he used to be. He's always in the title picture for no reason, especially when they've got a whole lot of other talent. So, yeah, I'm hoping Roman Reigns retains the title at SummerSlam. And as I stated in last week's live stream, I'm hoping that Roman Reigns retains his title all the way up into leading into WrestleMania 2023 in Los Angeles, California. That way, the rumors of The Rock returning for one night only will actually happen. And maybe, just maybe, The Rock will be able to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns from his long 600 plus reign, just like he did when CM Punk was the longest reigning champion several years ago. So if The Rock was the one that came back to dethrone CM Punk after no one could beat him, I almost think that WWE is going to follow up and have Roman Reigns retain the title against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and then ultimately bring Dwayne The Rock Johnson in to be able to be the one to defeat Roman Reigns and finally put the longest championship reign to sleep. Right now, commercial break for those that are just tuning in. Raw started off with a segment with Titus O'Neil. Basically, to summarize what he says that WWE is not a place for politics and it is a place for fun and entertainment. Following that segment was the women's segment where Becky Lynch was first talking smack. Bianca Belair, aka EST, interrupts, and then she started talking trash, and then they were both interrupted by Carmella, who came out talking trash. Following that segment, Carmella and Bianca Belair had a match one on one. Big Time Becky was at ringside watching. She tried to cause a few distractions, but ultimately it didn't work. Bianca Belair fights Carmella one on one with the extra stipulation added that countout will cause Bianca to lose the title to Carmella, and then Bianca was able to overcome the odds of the Big Time Becky distractions and overcome the odds of not getting counted out, even though she almost did get counted out a few times. She was able to go ahead and retain her title and still be champion. And therefore, at SummerSlam, Becky Lynch will be going one-on-one against Bianca Belair for the Raw's Women's Championship. So Belair will be going into SummerSlam still being the champ. There will be no title hands changed, and Carmella will not be in the title picture for SummerSlam, which I'm happy about that because, to be honest, I don't even understand how Carmella got two title shots back to back. She got one on Raw last week, then she got one on Raw this week. So I think after those two losses, it's safe to say that Carmella is more than likely going to drop to the bottom of the list. And hopefully that means now, the big time people can start going back for the title. Right now it's commercial break. Oh, and then of course the Street Profits had a little segment with with MVP and Omos, and then they wanted to take on MVP and Omos in a tag team match. MVP says he's not dressed up to fight, but that he will find a suitable tag team partner for Omos so that they can take on the Street Profits tonight on a 2-on-2 tag team match. Now, commercial break is over. We have officially recapped everything that has occurred so far on Raw, and Kevin Owens now is in the ring hosting the KO show with a special guest soon to come out in a few moments, Riddle, a.k.a. who I like to call Mr. Broski. I haven't seen Kevin Owens in a while, so I'm surprised that KO is even out here. He says, finally, the KO show is back on Raw, and he says, we know that, he says, I know that you guys missed me, and the fans started actually cheering on Kevin Owens. Now Riddle's coming out to the ring with his scooter, and the fans are like, bro, 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 bro. The fans are happy tonight to not only see KO, aka Kevin Owens, but they're also happy to see that the KO show is back on Raw. And even more so, they're even happier to see that the special guest for the KO show happens to be RK Bro, aka Riddle, aka Mr. Broski. And it looks like at Nashville, Tennessee for SummerSlam, it's going to be Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins on a one-on-one match. That's going to be a very interesting match because I honestly like to watch Seth Rollins compete, and I think Riddle is going to be a good competitor. All right, let's see what he has to say. He opens up the segment saying, bro, thanks for having me on the show. He says that KO owes him a Baja Blast. KO goes to pick up Riddle's sandals. And he says, what do we do with this? And he says, well, the fans usually get that. And he throws it out the ring. KO says that he had to leave because for the last several months, he's been obsessed. He says that he was trying to prove that Ezekiel and Elias is the same person. So he says that he needed to be away for a little while to find his inner peace so that he could stop with the obsession. Now he says Riddle There's something about him that's calm, cool, and collected, and he says that he admires that about him. Kevin Owens says he needs to be more like that, more laid back, more personable, and more calm, like the way Riddle is about life. KO says that he wants to discuss the match that the Riddle is having at SummerSlam with Seth freaking Rollins. He says that Seth Rollins is another person, just like Elias and Ezekiel, that has caused him a lot of anguish. And he says that Seth Rollins has caused him a lot of anguish. And I think he's almost possibly going to interfere in that match at SummerSlam, just the way he's talking about. Yeah, he hates Seth Rollins. So KO, I think, is going to interfere and probably help Riddle win that match at SummerSlam. Because it's just odd that he came out of nowhere talking about this. Oh, he says RK Bro was a great tag team, but KO Bro can be great and can be even better. And he says that Riddle should be basically teaming up with him, or basically he says that KO should be like backing up Riddle. And the fans are cheering it. Damn, Riddle puts him on the spot and says, "You're like the biggest liar that I know, bro." He's like, "How you gonna have my back?" You know what I'm saying? KO says that he's turned over a new leaf, and he says he's not gonna be like that anymore, as far as being a liar and being like disloyal and being a backstabber. Oh, he's saying that Riddle trusted the biggest snake in WWE, like Randy Orton. And he says, if you could trust a snake like that, you can trust me. Riddle says that he feels offended about the fact that KO is out here talking shit about RKO. He says he doesn't appreciate that. And if he knew this was going to be the level of disrespect, he would have never, ever came out to talk to him on the KO show. Oh, Seth freaking Rollins. His music comes on. Riddle turns away for 2 seconds to look at the Titantron, and Seth freaking Rollins rolls in on the other side of the ring, plants his finisher, the boot on the back of the head to plant Riddle face first into the ground. Oh man, Seth freaking Rollins getting the unfair advantage, smiling with a stupid look on his face. Now he's over here throwing the leather chairs outside of the ring, throwing the KO show signs out the ring. Oh, and he lands another one. Lands his finisher again on Riddle. Goes running towards the head of Riddle, jumps up, puts his foot behind Riddle's face, and plants him face first again to the ground. And now he's over there taunting to the fans, feeling good about himself, about the fact that he took out Riddle, gave him two finishes, and clearly having the slight advantage going into SummerSlam as far as momentum is concerned. Riddle out here overselling the move too. Kevin Owens disappeared, didn't help Riddle, but yeah, he was just talking a minute ago that he would love to help Riddle, that he would love to be his backup, that he would love to be KO Bro, and he ends up just disappearing, and he ends up not even I don't understand. He literally said he was turning a new leaf and said he wasn't gonna lie anymore. And he literally lied in the same segment. He said he was gonna be the backup for Riddle. Seth freaking Rollins attacks Riddle and ends up getting no help from KO. KO just disappeared and ran to the back. Completely vanished like a magic trick. That's crazy. Now they're showing the recap from Raw last week when Finn Balor ended up attacking Rey Mysterio, and then later on they had the match on that same Raw, and of course Finn Balor got the victory over Rey Mysterio, and now we have Finn Balor and Damian Priest head into the ring, aka the Judgment Day. Right now, the commentators are hyping up this segment, saying that they're wondering who's going to join them next. And it looks like there's going to be a one-on-one match again, but this time it's going to be Rey Mysterio taking on Damian Priest. Last week was Damian versus Finn Balor. So it looks like it's going to be another singles competition coming up next on Raw. It looks like Rey Mysterio's son is again not going to be in competition. Right now, it's on commercial break, showing a quick promo of the titles, showing 30% off orders and 20% off championship titles for those who are interested at WWEshop.com. I'm not going to lie, one day I'm going to start buying those titles, man. Those titles look so sexy. But anyways, right now it's on a quick commercial break. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Damian Priest coming up one-on-one competition against Rey Mysterio after the commercial break is over. I'm assuming they're going to end up making Rey Mysterio lose again. And if there is someone potentially that's going to join the Judgment Day team, I'm assuming that they're probably going to do it in this particular segment. It's still on my mind though how Raw opened up with Titus O'Neil talking about WWE not being a place of politics. I'm still kind of wondering like what exactly that they're referring to on that. They haven't had any Google updates. Been trying to search it down. See if I can look it up again. Yeah, it looks like it's still on commercial break. I'm trying to find this segment. Maybe I'm putting too much of a broad explanation. Let me just put Titus O'Neil. Let's see, damn, I should have went to Raw tonight. It's actually close to. I think it's close to where I live. It's in the Tampa area, so I should have more than likely seen if there was still tickets available. But it looks like it's pretty sold out. So I don't think I would have been able to get any tickets, at least in the front row. Probably would have been in the top section in the nosebleeds. See Titus O'Neil. All it says is Titus O'Neil appears on July 18. All right, actually, this looks like about press Capricorns, curators. Sorry if I'm speaking to myself. Let's see, Titus O'Neil. So for all to ensure it's a safe space. Mm, some of these look like. Let's see. I think this is today. All right, there's three of them here. Let me see if I can figure it out. These are not things. LGBT daughter. Oh, I think maybe I might have found out what this was about. I think it's because wait, let me double check because I'm looking at this here. This says Does this say the speech? Well, before we get to the Titus O'Neil thing, looks like Raw's back. Let's see. Seth Rollins says that Riddle is getting so stupid and so arrogant that he thinks that he says that Riddle is so dumb to think that Randy Orton really thinks. I mean, he says that Riddle really thinks that Randy Orton cared about him and that like he was his actual friend. If he thinks that he's dumb, and then he says that if he was smart, he would have taken the backup that Kevin Owens offered. Oh, Ezekiel just came out. Ezekiel says that if Seth Rollins thinks that that's how things are going to work around here, as far as attacking people from behind the way that he did to Riddle, he says that ain't going to happen. Seth Rollins says that if he wants to, he can stomp anyone's ass anywhere in the ring. He says he'll even stomp a mud hole in Elias or Ezekiel's ass. And Ezekiel says, don't talk about my family. Ezekiel says business is about to pick up. And it looks like maybe he might be looking to challenge. He possibly might be looking to challenge Seth Rollins tonight. All right, so it looks like the Judgment Day is in the ring with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Damian Priest tells Damian Priest tells everyone to rise for a prince and to rise for the Judgment Day. Speaking of himself and Finn Balor, and all the fans in the background are giving him the thumbs down, booing the fuck out of him. So now he's talking about that the reason why he attacked Rey Mysterio last week is because he believes Rey Mysterio and Dominic will join eventually the Judgment Day. Damian Priest says that Dominic has a look in his eyes like he is going to betray Rey Mysterio and that he is eagerly looking to join the Judgment Day. Well, while they're talking there, so it looks like the showing the flashback of when Damian Priest and Finn Balor ended up attacking Edge and kicking him out of his own team that was originally created by Edge, kicking him out of the Judgment Day. And they're showing when they gave the one-man concerto, when they threw his ass on the table, and when they completely annihilated him, which was about a month ago on Raw. So looks like Rey Mysterio and Dominic interrupted this segment. Looks like they're about to go in the ring, and their Damian Priest and Finn Balor trash talking segment is going to come to an end. I'm not gonna lie to you, Dominic. He looks like he's gonna betray Rey Mysterio possibly tonight, and if he doesn't do it tonight, I think he's gonna end up doing it eventually because they have to pick up Dominic's gimmick. I feel like him being like a face in the company, he's not really. I don't know. He's not really taking him to the next level, and I feel like he just he's just hiding behind Rey Mysterio's shadow. You know what I'm saying? So I think in order for them to officially get him out of his daddy's shadow and become somewhat, someone better, become, someone credible and someone that people would want to watch. I feel like he almost has to betray his father, Rey Mysterio, and I feel like he almost has to join the Judgment Day. So who knows? It might happen tonight, might not happen. Maybe it'll happen at SummerSlam. I don't know if there's anything scheduled for these two teams to go heads up. But what I will say is that would be best for business. because I feel like Dominic's gimmick is just boring, and also kind of like his in ring matches kind of they're not that good. They kind of suck, to be honest. So in order for him to take his gimmick and his persona to the next level, I think him joining the Judgment Day would actually be a really really good upgrade, to his image. So, and I think that will help to propel his career a little bit further. Right now they're giving a commercial break, so let me go back to the Titus O'Neil situation that I was referring to before. That I said I wanted to know exactly what's going on. So first off, Titus O'Neil hasn't even been on WWE programming since WrestleMania 37, which was last year, and that was, of course, for those that don't remember, he was hosting alongside Hulk Hogan, and he was hosting the Tampa, Florida WrestleMania, which is the one that I went to live and in person. One of the best WrestleManias that I've seen in a while. Also, one of the best WrestleManias to have seen live and in person. On top of that, if you didn't get to go in person and you saw it on TV, it was still a phenomenal show to catch. But I saw that one live last year, um, and eventually I may end up posting the footage on that. And so, basically, just to recap, O'Neil was saying that WWE is a safe space because they don't talk about things regarding religion, politics, or other divisive topics, right? So that's what they're saying. They're saying that they don't talk about anything that is divisive, politics being one of them. So, with that being said, now I'm looking over here into another article to figure out if it's, and they also said they don't like to talk about rape. Excuse me. They also said they don't like to talk about racial injustices, um, which ironically, um, back in the day, WWE used to always do racial type of things where, like, they would have, for example, um, the Canadians like Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, and British Bulldog, and I think it was Jim the Anvil Neidhart, if I'm not mistaken. They used to go up against, I think it was the Nation of Domination, and one time they had a segment where they had the whole wall of the locker room written with racial slurs or racial type of things, basically insulting the Nation of Domination. So you can see how it's changed a lot from the Attitude Era to the current era, which is like eras that are far apart. So it's ironic that they made that speech because, I mean, WWE has had in the past racial situations to kind of elevate the content. But anyways, in modern day, they try to prevent that as much as they can. And so Titus O'Neil basically did a promo segment to open the show, stating that they don't talk about that stuff. Now, what I think the conversation might have been is that it says that Titus O'Neil recently opens up about adopting an LGBTQ daughter. That was back on July 3rd, 2022. So I'm wondering if the fact that he adopted someone from the LGBTQ community, if that is the reason why he came out tonight, only 15 days after adopting a daughter from the community, if that's the reason why he's speaking out about WWE not being a place to talk about, divisive topics. Because again, whenever you talk about things about the LGBTQ community, that can be another topic that can potentially be divisive, controversial, argumentative, etc. So it's ironic that 15 days ago he adopted a daughter from the community, and then he comes out tonight and mentions that we will not be talking about divisive topics and that this will continue to be a safe haven in the WWE world. So potentially, I think that that's what it's in reference to. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that that's what it's about because I don't see anything else as far as a big headline when it comes to that. Um, and then it looks like back on March 21st. Um, Let me see something else here. Back on March of this year, actually, which was about 3 months ago, Titus O'Neil, I guess, was discussing something regarding about racial representation in the WWE. There's an article on that on March 21st, 2022. So who knows? Maybe it also could be regarding racial. So maybe it's not just regarding, representation regarding the LGBTQ community, but also maybe racial representation that he was discussing before could be the other thing that he's targeting. So maybe that's why they brought him to be the face of being the AKA global ambassador for the WWE. Those are the two things that stand out right now. Those are the two articles. So I think it's rather ironic that they would have brought him out here. But then again, his hometown is Tampa, Florida. He was the last time he showed up was in Tampa, Florida, which was last year at WrestleMania, which was like about 1 year and 3 months ago. So I guess it's fitting that they would have him come out in his hometown after being almost over a year off. The last time we saw him was at his hometown in Tampa, Florida. So those how they're connecting the dots from Mania last year into Raw, tonight. And I guess they're also trying to connect the dots regarding racial representation and the community representation. So I guess all that is being balled up into that one segment. And I think they're trying to squash the beef so that it looks like Titus O'Neil is on good terms with WWE, especially as he gave himself the self-proclaimed global ambassador title. I don't know if that's been like that, but that's what he stated tonight on Raw. So that's what I think that intro and promo was relating to representation from the community and also racial representation. And I think that's where they're trying to squash the beef in case that anyone thinks that WWE is either racist or in case that WWE thinks that they have something against the LGBTQ community. I guess he wanted to be kind of like the face to be able to say that that is not the case and that WWE is a safe haven and welcoming for all, which we know that that's not true regardless of what Titus O'Neil says. We know that there's different people and different things that happen in WWE, but we digress. Anyways, we digress on that topic, but that's the reason. So I did my research, found out what it's about, and that is the reason as to why Titus O'Neil was out tonight on Raw in Tampa, Florida, his hometown, discussing topics that he doesn't want to discuss, basically. But anyways, we're back from commercial break. Rey Mysterio right now, Damian Priest one-on-one. Earlier, as I was talking, Rey Mysterio got thrown to the outside and bashed against the barricade, but now the action is back in the ring. Rey Mysterio gives the 619 to Damian Priest. Then he goes to the top rope. Damian Priest gets on his feet, catches Rey Mysterio in the air. Then he picks him up, throws him, and gives him the Razor's Edge type finisher. Oh, man. He flings Rey Mysterio almost 2 or 3 feet away from him. Jesus Christ. Rey Mysterio got thrown and folded. Oh, shit. Gets the 1, 2, 3 on Rey Mysterio. Man, the Judgment Day picking up 2 victories in back-to-back Raws over Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio lost last week to Finn Balor, and now he loses this week to Damian Priest. He is now 0-2 in singles matches right now against the Judgment Day. And now Finn Balor goes and grabs 2 chairs, puts Rey Mysterio's head on one chair. He's got the other chair. And now Damian Priest says that Dominic is joining the Judgment Day tonight. Oh, he's threatening Dominic that if Dominic does not join the Judgment Day tonight, Rey Mysterio is going to catch a one-man concerto. Dominic jumps into the ring. He goes on top of his dad to cover him up. And he says, stop. Oh, Dominic says he's going to join the Judgment Day if they stop and don't attack his dad. Oh, shit. Damian Priest says on the microphone, oh, now you want to join the Judgment Day? He says, well, it doesn't work that day. It doesn't work that way. So the Judgment Day ends up acting like they wanted Dominic to join. Instead, Finn Balor hits Dominic on the back with a chair. Then he tries to go for a concerto onto Rey Mysterio's head. Rey Mysterio gets out of the ring in time. Rey Mysterio rolls to the outside, and it looks like Dominic is not going to be joining the Judgment Day. So I guess the Judgment Day decided to change their mind, and they're not going to be casting Dominic into the Judgment Day. So Judgment Day, I guess, was not satisfied with the fact that Dominic turned them down the first time. So it looks like due to that, they're not going to accept them this time around. Now they're showing the flashback from earlier tonight when Riddle was getting hosted by KO on the KO show, and Seth Rollins attacked him twice from behind. Pause, no pun intended. Seth Rollins getting the exclamation point twice on the head of Riddle, face first into the pavement. And then, of course, boasting. So they're showing that flashback. And now Seth Rollins is on his way to the ring. So I'm wondering if he's going to have a one-on-one competition with Ezekiel. And honestly, I haven't watched Raw consistently enough to know whether or not Ezekiel is the brother of Elias or if he's actually Elias himself who just happened to shave his beard. But if it's the same person, which it kind of looks like it is, I would say that they should have kept the Elias image. I think the Ezekiel image, not a suitable replacement. At least in my opinion, not a suitable replacement. The fans going, whoa, whoa. I'll tell you, they love that Seth Rollins entrance. So, yeah, it looks like Ezekiel, because he took offense to Seth Rollins attacking Riddle earlier tonight, and he took offense to the fact that Seth Rollins said that he can kick anyone's ass in WWE, including Ezekiel. It looks like it's going to be a one-on-one match coming up next after the commercial break. So yeah, right now it's on commercial break. But yeah, it looks like the whole Titus O'Neil speech earlier in the promo was trying to back up WWE. That apparently WWE would not speak of divisive topics regarding representation. That's what that whole big speech was to start the show. Let me see if I could actually share the two articles. I'm gonna because right now it's commercial break. Let me share the two articles that I found that I think is the reason why he was out here after being almost a year and a half, or I should say a year and 3 months, not even being on any WWE content. Let's see. Let me share the screen for a sec. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm reading here. So see, this is the article right here. This is the one that says Titus O'Neil opens up about recently adopting an LGBTQ daughter. And it says, let me see if I can make this larger here. See, it says July 3rd, 2022. So on July 3rd, which was 15 days ago, he adopted a daughter from that community. And basically, because he did adopt a daughter from that community, I think that could be one of the reasons why he came out and gave that speech. Basically trying to back up, trying to basically say that the WWE is not going to talk about divisive topics. It could be that pertaining to that. Now, if it's not pertaining to that, let me go ahead and share my screen on another tab I have open here. This one is this. So let me go ahead and make this larger as well. Actually, it's already there. So yeah, this one was dating back to March 21st, 2022. Where it says Titus O'Neil discusses racial representation in the WWE. So if it's not about the daughter that he just adopted from the community, it's more than likely got to be regarding racial representation. Because a lot of people feel that a lot of times WWE doesn't necessarily represent certain communities. Um, one of them being, the black community, of course, because they don't have as many African American champions. And then when they do become champ, they don't have them a champion as far as like long term. I think Bobby Lashley, was probably one of the longest reigning champs, with the Almighty era. As far as like African Americans is concerned, there might have been, of course, a few others in the past, but I think that's the one in most recent years. So I think that's the main thing that maybe Titus O'Neil was attacking. Back this article was back in March 21st of this year, which was about 3 months ago. So I'm assuming that it's got to pertain maybe more to the racial representation because he kind of did mention we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about race, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about anything divisive. So I'm thinking it's got to be pertaining to one of these two stories because if not, what else would it possibly be about? You get what I'm saying? It wouldn't add up and make sense to be about anything else. So his little 10-minute, 15-minute segment to start off Raw tonight, it looks like that's probably what it was pertaining to. It was either a racial thing, and he's trying to say, oh, he's trying to squash the beef for anybody who's basically talking smack about WWE, or it could be pertaining to his daughter that he adopted 15 days ago. By the way, now they're showing this segment here, and they've shown this segment already at least once last week on Raw. The segment is like a spooky, like a thriller, scary movie type of scene where it was like 10 seconds and it shows the John Cena "You Can't See Me" logo, and then and it also shows the RKO logo. This week they show the segment again. It shows the RKO logo again. It shows the John Cena "You Can't See Me" logo again, and then it shows the Mick Foley, which I don't think it showed this last week, but this week it showed in the same segment the Mick Foley red and black flannel shirt that Mick Foley used to wear in some of his matches, and it shows it lit on fire. And then it shows this guy walking, and it shows his hand. He puts his finger into something that looks like red, almost like it looks like blood. And I don't know what this segment is implying, but I'm assuming that at SummerSlam, it's gonna be presented to us who this individual is. This is already at least two times that they've shown this segment where it's supposed to be someone that is basically like I don't know if he's supposed to be maybe like another King type of figure, Bray Wyatt type of figure. I have no idea. Maybe like an Undertaker type of figure, but there's somebody that's looping in the darkness that apparently I don't know if he's beaten RKO before. Maybe he's also beaten Mick Foley, and maybe he's also beaten John Cena, because those are the three main people where there's either a symbol or a logo representing one of those individuals from the past. And apparently he's beaten all three of those wrestlers in the past. So who knows? But it'll be interesting at SummerSlam to see who this individual is that they keep showing these segments for. Let me stop sharing the screen for a sec here. It's going to be very interesting to see who this segment is regarding. It'll be crazy if it's Bray Wyatt. That would be like a complete turnaround for WWE to bring Bray Wyatt back. So that would be dope if low key that's going to be Bray Wyatt coming back. But to my knowledge, I don't think Bray Wyatt has ever defeated or faced off against Mick Foley. So I'm almost wondering who could it be that this segment has shown where it has the flannel from Mick Foley on fire, it has the RKO logo, and then it has the John Cena logo. Like it's almost representing that whoever this person is has defeated these three individuals in the past. So I don't know who it could possibly be, but it's going to be interesting at SummerSlam to see who they review as this new wrestler that's coming to the WWE. Now, after that segment, we have the Ezekiel versus Seth Rollins match, which has officially been started on the way. Ezekiel has Seth Rollins in a headlock. Seth Rollins throws him towards the ropes. Ezekiel with a shoulder block into Seth Rollins that knocks him down. Starts running rope to rope again. Takes down Seth Rollins with one arm. Right now, Ezekiel is in the corner with Seth freaking Rollins face to face, goes for a chop, misses. Ezekiel ducks it and then ends up giving Seth Rollins a chop across his chest. Ezekiel throws Seth Rollins to the ropes, and then Seth Rollins ends up grabbing Ezekiel from the head, throws him face first into the concrete. Excuse me, not to the concrete, into the ground. And then now he's attacking Ezekiel in the corner. To be honest, I'm very, very interested in figuring out if Ezekiel is actually Elias uh, without the beard. They honestly don't really look the same, so I'm surprised they're using this whole brother segment. But I'm almost certain that Ezekiel and Elias is the same person. Well, Ezekiel goes and throws Seth Rollins up into the air, and Seth Rollins lands on his stomach straight down. Then Seth Rollins throws Ezekiel to the outside, goes flying through the ropes, lands on Ezekiel. Ezekiel ends up not falling to the ground, throws Seth Rollins to the barricade, then smacks Seth Rollins against the ring post, brings it back into the ring, goes to the third rope. Oof. And then Seth Rollins gets up, causes Ezekiel's feet to be disoriented. Ezekiel lands on his nuts on the third turnbuckle, and then Ezekiel gets planted from the third. Oof. A knee to the back of his head, and both guys fall back on the mat. And now it looks like they're taking another commercial break. I have no reason why they're taking another commercial break during the match. It's like the second one they've taken so far. But we'll be back with that in just a moment. But yeah, it's a very interesting segment. I'm intrigued to find out who is this new wrestler that's coming to WWE. I wonder if they're gonna show him either at SummerSlam or if they're gonna show him on Raw next week, because there is one more Raw leading up to SummerSlam, which is next week on Monday. That's the last Raw before before the SummerSlam pay-per-view, because the SummerSlam pay-per-view is on the weekend, not this weekend, but on the following weekend. So after tonight, there'll be one more Raw next week, and then next week will also be SummerSlam after the final Raw of the month. So it's going to be interesting if they're going to end up showing this wrestler on Raw or if they're going to show him on SummerSlam. I almost hope they leave it to SummerSlam, especially if it's going to be a big time name, let's say like Bray Wyatt or something like that. I'm hoping they end up, leaving it for SummerSlam, because WWE will do that sometimes. They'll hype it up, making it seem like it's going to be like a big time name that's going to be showing up at SummerSlam, and then sometimes, not often, but very rarely, sometimes they'll show the the return of someone, or they'll show a new wrestler on Raw or on SmackDown instead of on SummerSlam. But all this hype, I'm thinking this guy is coming back at SummerSlam. The real question is, when is he going to show up on the card? When is he going to? I feel almost he has to interfere in the match. So it's like, when is he going to interfere? When is he going to show up? Or is it going to be like someone's going to be having, their own little promo, and then he's going to interrupt and show up then? Who knows? Maybe at SummerSlam, Kevin Owens might have the KO show, and Kevin Owens might end up, just talking for a little bit. And maybe this wrestler is going to show up randomly, or maybe he's going to interfere in the match. But very intrigued to figure out. There's got to be. I almost feel like they're going to bring a similar Bray Wyatt type of character back. If it's not Bray Wyatt himself, I almost think they're going to bring back that kind of character, just because it's a character with a huge dark side. And for some reason, they showed Mick Foley's flannel being burnt on fire, and they showed Randy Orton and John Cena's logos within that same little promo segment. So I'm trying to think who beat these three guys, who might have lit Mick Foley on fire in the past, that possibly could be returning at SummerSlam. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully WWE brings a notable name. Oh shit. They're gonna have a 20-woman battle royal to determine who's gonna face off Mandy Rose. It's gonna be tomorrow night on NXT 2.0. Man, oh man, that's gonna be interesting. Well, if I'm doing a live stream on that, I'll definitely give the play-by-play on the 20 women battle royal, and also give the result of the winner if I happen to cover a live stream on that, because usually I like to cover AEW on Tuesdays for the AEW Dark. I usually like to cover that instead, because that usually I like AEW more for Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but we'll see. Oh, and tonight, later on Raw, it says AJ Styles versus Theory. It's gonna be a good match tonight. I like both of those wrestlers. Pause. And I think that's gonna be a good match. It might be the main event for tonight. All right, so Ezekiel and Seth Rollins action back. Rollins rolling up Ezekiel. It's gonna be a 2 count. Ooh, and then after both men get back up, Ezekiel catches a nasty super kick to the side of his cheek on his face. Ezekiel's eyes almost looking like he was completely knocked unconscious when he received that super kick from Seth Rollins. I'm not gonna lie to you, this crowd kind of sucks tonight at WWE Raw. They haven't been really cheering too much. I mean, then again, it hasn't been a super exciting Raw either. But these Tampa fans tonight, I don't know. They're usually a lot better fans. Surprised. Oh, Seth Rollins looked like he was gonna go almost for like a famous her type of look. Ezekiel reverses it, and then they end up botching the move, going into roll up pin. Oh shit! Ezekiel gets the power bomb on Seth freaking Rollins, gets a tight pin, but it's only gonna be a 2 count. Yeah, he planted Seth Rollins pretty hard on that power bomb, and he had him in a good pin too. He had him folded in half on the pin, with Seth Rollins' legs going towards his own chest, and Ezekiel was on top of him. Pause, no pun intended. And Ezekiel did not get the victory. It was only a 2 count. Ooh. Seth Rollins catching a nasty chop across the chest by Ezekiel. Both guys switching punches back and forth. Ooh, and Seth Rollins catches Ezekiel with the Itziguri right across the back of the scalp. Ezekiel throws Seth Rollins over the third rope, but Seth Rollins lands on top of the apron. Seth Rollins jumping over the third rope, and Ezekiel jumps in the air and catches Seth Rollins with a knee in the face mid-air, goes for the pin. Oof, it's only going to be a 2 count. Damn, man, he planted Seth Rollins in the face nasty with that shit. Like, Seth Rollins was soaring through the sky and catches a nasty knee straight to the face. Surprised that wasn't enough for Ezekiel to get the victory. Zeke going back up to the third rope again, but Seth Rollins is across the ring, far away. Oh, Seth Rollins runs up to the third rope. Oof, a superplex on Zeke. Oh, and then he holds on to him and then plants him with the finisher. 1, 2. Oh, it's a kick out. Oh, shit. Now he's going for the pedigree. Oh, Ezekiel reversing it, lifting Seth Rollins over his head with no arms. Ezekiel going for the pin. It's a 2 count. Oh, shit. That was a nasty punch. He caught Ezekiel in the face hard as fuck with that punch. and catches him with a forearm hit on the back of the head. Lands the exclamation point on him. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Ezekiel loses. Damn, all of that shit talking by Ezekiel telling Seth Rollins that Seth Rollins cannot do whatever he feels like, whatever he wants in this business, and then talks trash to him and sets up the singles match, and then he ends up losing emphatically. Man, oh man, I don't know what they're doing with Ezekiel, man. This guy loses every time I watch him. He loses. Sheesh. Oh, Seth Rollins with a big victory over Ezekiel. Both guys, though, pretty good match. You know what I would like to see? I would actually like to see a tag team match between Riddle and KO as the new tag team guys called KO Bro facing off against what was I say? Facing off against Seth Rollins and maybe Ezekiel as tag team partners. But then again, Ezekiel and Seth Rollins are not friends, so that wouldn't match up. Actually, it would probably make more sense if it's Riddle teaming up with Ezekiel, since they're both faces, against the two heels of Seth Rollins and uh, KO, Kevin Owens. That actually would be a good tag team match for SummerSlam. But that's not going to happen. That's just me thinking out loud. Right now, the Usos are over here. Right now, the Usos meeting up with MVP and Omos in the back, and they're over here hyping up Omos, talking about he's about to take care of business. He's about to tear shit up. And the Usos on their way to the ring right now with the titles. I'm not gonna lie. These tag team titles, I don't really like the look of the titles, but when you have both of them, like the way the Usos do that, they have both titles, it actually looks pretty dope when you carry both of the titles together. But when you only have one set of the titles, it doesn't look as good as it is when you're carrying both titles together. And here we go. We the ones, the Usos, coming to the ring. Well, now they're promoting that movie called Nope. That movie Nope looks like it's gonna be crazy. Oh, that movie's coming out this Friday. Usos are in the ring right now, just taunting, chanting to the fans. They're not a part of this match. It's going to be Angelo Dawkins versus Omos. So it's going to be a singles match, I guess. It's not going to be a tag team match. It looks like MVP probably wasn't able to find a suitable replacement for himself because he looks like he declined the challenge for Angelo and Fontez when they asked for a tag team match, against MVP and Omos. MVP told him earlier he's not going to do that, and he said he'll find someone. I guess he didn't find anyone, and it looks like it's going to be just a singles match with Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins going one on one against MVP's Omos. Of course, MVP will be at ringside, to cheer on Omos and create distractions against Street Profits. And Fontez should also be out there, to make sure his boy Angelo Dawkins doesn't get screwed by the distractions of MVP. And then you got the other deciding factor at ringside, the Usos. So more than likely, Omos is going to either win this match by distractions caused by the Usos at ringside, or this match may end up in a disqualification where the Usos interfere. Right now, it looks like it's on a commercial break. So we'll wait a moment here before the match starts so we can get things going. All right, so it's on commercial break right now. I'm gonna take a moment to go get me something to drink real quick. I'll be back in about 30 to 60 seconds. All right, guys. So I'm back. Commercial breaks over. They're showing the flashback of Damian Priest doing the Razor's Edge to Rey Mysterio and getting the 1-2-3 victory earlier. That match has already occurred and taken place as we already discussed. Whoa, and it looks like next week on Raw, live on Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, Rey Mysterio 20th anniversary celebration. If you guys didn't catch it, John Cena had recently returned for a quick segment where he went and talked about a little bit about, his experience for the past 20 years, how he enjoyed the fans, how he did this all for the business, etc., etc. Well, it looks like Rey Mysterio, the legacy of Rey Mysterio, it's 20 years in the making. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Rey Mysterio has to say. I almost wonder if Rey Mysterio may possibly retire next week on Raw, and maybe that might be his last time on TV. Who knows? We'll see. 20th anniversary for Rey Mysterio next week on Monday Night Raw. Now there's a backstage segment with Damian Priest talking a whole lot of smack. Damian Priest, Finn Balor talking smack, saying that because next week is Rey Mysterio's it's Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary. They're saying that they're gonna go ahead and be on Raw and make sure that they basically wipe out Rey Mysterio on his 20th anniversary. So a lot more smack talk going on. A lot more smack talk going on. Backstage by the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Now it looks like we're getting to the upcoming singles match with Angelo Dawkins going up one-on-one against Omos. Omos is now on the way to the ring with MVP by his side. This guy is, they say he's 7'3", 430 pounds. That's fucking crazy. That's stupid crazy. That height, 7'3", 430 pounds. All right, here we go. Street Profits hyping themselves up. They said they want the smoke. Now they're coming out to the ring. Yep, Street Profits on the way. Fontez hyping up his boy Angelo Dawkins for this one-on-one competition. Boys are coming to the ring, and Fontez out here dancing. Uso staring from far away, not impressed. Angelo Dawkins continuing to dance his way to the ring. Fontez doing the same. The Usos, being the tag team champions, are not impressed with the Street Profits. The shenanigans of the dancing coming out to the ring. Omos, with a super serious face, also looking unimpressed. Here we go, guys. Angelo Dawkins versus Omos. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I hate Omos. His matches are fucking dead boring. Now, we'll see how this one's gonna come out. Oh shit. Omos picking up Angelo and throwing his ass across the ring. Fontez Ford grabbing the ankle of Omos. And Omos right now distracted for a moment, and Angelo with a forearm to the face of Omos. Omos throws Angelo to the ropes and then a huge shoulder to the face of Omos. Fontez out there acting crazy with the distractions, making chicken sounds out there. Omos goes for a big boot and misses. Angelo does a spinning move in the air for a punch. And I don't even know if that landed, but okay. He tries to do it again. I don't know if it landed again. That's not a move I think I would have in my repertoire. Oh, and MVP grabs the ankles of Angelo in front of the referee. The referee actually sees it. What did I say? This match was going to end in probably a disqualification. I thought it was going to be the Usos, though, that were going to interfere. But apparently MVP grabs Angelo's ankle. Referee sees it, calls for a disqualification, and therefore Angelo is going to be the winner by technicality. Oh, now this jabroni's coming out again. I don't know who the hell this guy is. This guy came out last week. Oh, it's been announced. It's been announced that it's going to be a tag team match. So initially, it was a singles match, and Angelo ends up win. Angelo gets the win because Omos gets disqualified. Omos gets disqualified because MVP got caught in front of the referee's face, grabbing the ankle of Angelo Dawkins. But then this guy comes out and announces that we're not going to end the match here. The match may have ended by disqualification, but he says we're going to now have ourselves a tag team match, and the tag team match is going to be with Omos teaming up with MVP against Angelo and Fontez Ford. And it looks like the match that the Street Profits initially wanted, it looks like now it has been officially granted. And after the commercial break, that is going to be the match. So I guess it looks like MVP, even though he was not dressed up for action and he came out in a suit and he is pissed about the announcement, he will be in ring action tonight in a tag team match. So once the commercial break is over, stay tuned because that looks like it's going to happen right away here on Raw, right after the commercial break. MVP will be in action. So that's what happens when you interfere. You interfere, and guess what? Now you're going to be in a match, tag team match at that. Tried to deny the Street Profits earlier, but guess what? Not going to deny it again. Looks like the Street Profits will get exactly what they wanted. MVP Omos in a tag team match. While it's on commercial break, let me go ahead and close out some of these tabs, just so I can make sure I don't have too much stuff open. Because literally, when I was trying to research this Titus O'Neil, what the Titus O'Neil segment was in reference to, it was like finding a needle in a haystack at first. But we got the answers. So now that we got the answer, you know what I'm saying, we can just close out some of these tabs. I don't need all this stuff open. I'm wondering though if the Usos are going to remain outside for this match. They were out there for when it was a singles match. Now it's going to be a tag team match. It looks like it's still on commercial break. Is it coming back? Yeah, it looks like it's back now from commercial break. All right. Damn, MVP didn't even go to the back to change his clothes. All he did was take off the blazer. And then already one of the Usos comes out to create a distraction with the title, almost swaps the ankle of Angelo. The referee sees it, tells him to get back. MVP is out here in a suit. Omos is in the ring beating up Angelo. Fontez is on the outside on the apron. It is officially a tag team match. MVP's out here looking confused and scared at the same time. This shit is so funny the way this guy's out here in a fucking suit waiting on the apron, waiting to be tagged in. Actually, he's not really waiting to be tagged in. He's just in the corner, almost looking not to be tagged in, hoping that Omos can take care of this shit on his own. MVP out here in a damn suit, bro. What is going on? Bro, he doesn't even look like he should even be out there. This shit is crazy. This guy even has a fucking vest on. He has a tie on. He still got the shoes on. He still got the dressy pants. He still got the button down shirt. The only thing he took off was the blazer, but he's got everything else on. This shit is funny, bro. I wonder if this is their way of possibly transitioning MVP back to being a wrestler versus being, like the mentor and the coach of Omos. I almost feel like this is gonna be one of those things where they end up bringing him back as a wrestler. Oh, look at this. MVP out here getting the moves on Angelo. Gets a knee to Angelo's face. MVP with the signature run into the ropes and does the skip 1, 2, 3, the little 1, 2, 3 skip that he used to do, aka the ballin' move. And he goes ballin', and the audience in Tampa remembers it and actually does the chant with him. A little trip down memory lane for MVP. Oh, he runs to the ropes again and catches a huge fist to the face by Angelo. And now both guys looking to tag their respective partners in. Omos waiting for the tag. Fontez waiting for the tag on his side from the Street Profits. Angelo gets the tag on Fontez. Oh, but Omos gets the tag in. Fontez got the look on his face like he's scared. But he kicks Omos in the face, climbs to the third rope. Omos catches Fontez like a baby. Holy shit. Throws Fontez on top of his shoulders. Throws him over his back, but Fontez lands on his feet. A kick to Omos' stomach. A kick to the face. Another kick to Omos' face. Omos catches a third kick to the face. Fontez jumps to the second rope, and when he leaps forward, catches a fist to the face by Omos. Then Omos runs to the rope and a huge boot to the face of Fontez, going for a pinfall. And Angelo ends up breaking the count. It's a 2 count. MVP gets in the ring attacking Angelo. Angelo throws MVP outside the ring. MVP grabs Angelo. Ooh, shit. A big fist to MVP's face by Angelo. Oh, shit. And MVP gets swatted by the Usos. The Usos get pissed off and try to run in to attack. But unfortunately, Angelo gets into the ring, joins Fontez. They take down Omos. They give him a super kick to the face. Fontez jumping up on the third rope, leaps for a high frog splash, lands it on Omos. Oh, shit. Looks like it was going to be a 3, but no, it's just a quick 1 count. And Omos throws Fontez off of him, as to say, frog splash did absolutely nothing. Holy shit. Omos kicking out of the frog splash by Fontez at 1 count. Unbelievable. Fontez going back up to the third rope again. Omos is still dragging around. Oh, shit. One of the Usos attacks Fontez. I think it was Jimmy. The referee sees it. Another disqualification. Another victory for the Street Profits off of a technicality again. Holy shit. Angelo catches a super kick by one of the Usos. Omos is grabbing Angelo by the neck. Fontez gets thrown to Omos as well, and Omos does a double super choke slam to both guys, Fontez and Angelo, simultaneously. The brute strength of Omos. And now Omos goes screaming at the Usos, almost as if he was going to attack the Usos. Maybe he might have been pissed off that the Usos costed Omos and MVP the tag team match. MVP quickly grabs Omos and tells him, "Let's go." The Usos in the ring with the titles, absolutely smiling, excited, and happy that the Street Profits have been absolutely demolished, destroyed, and taken out by the 7'3", 430-pound Omos. So Street Profits are 2-0 tonight, winning 2 matches in a row. First, the singles match of Angelo versus Omos. That ended in a DQ. And then now the tag team match ends in a DQ, both in favor of Street Profits. So Street Profits win their singles match and their tag team match tonight. And now backstage, we had Veer Mahan looking like he was about to go ahead and speak for a moment, and ends up scaring this the Miz comes out and says that Veer Mahan probably has a crush on this chick who's currently interviewing him. I didn't catch her name, but it's funny. He's over here trying to play almost like he's over here trying to almost like hook this dude up. The Miz out here coming out with a fresh suit, talking smack again about Logan Paul as usual. He says that tonight Logan Paul is going to see and realize what's going to happen to him at SummerSlam. All right. Next coming up, Mr. Austin Theory. Theory all day, 2022 Money in the Bank winner. Yes, coming to the ring now for his singles match against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Oh, he's the youngest Mr. Money in the Bank. I didn't know that. Oh, Vince must really like Austin Theory. I mean, to be honest, Austin Theory, I think, is going to be the future, obviously, of the WWE, especially in the heavyweight division for the Universal Championship and the Undisputed Championship, I should say. So, yeah, coming up next is AJ Styles versus Theory. Theory's already on his way to the ring. I did not know he was the youngest Mr. Money in the Bank. Right now, he's on the second rope taking selfies of himself with the Money in the Bank on his shoulder. And then talking smack to the crowd from the rope, saying he is Mr. Money in the Bank all day. I'll be honest, Austin Theory should definitely cash that title either at WrestleMania 2023 or at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or even Royal Rumble. But I think honestly, SummerSlam and Mania, those will probably be the likely opportunities for him. Here's a theory for Austin Theory. Here's a big theory for Austin Theory. Austin Theory, Mr. All Day Theory, Mr. Money in the Bank, Mr. Youngest Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank all day. Here's a good theory for Austin Theory. What if Austin Theory waits until WrestleMania 2023 in Los Angeles, California to go ahead and pull the upset of all upsets after an upset happens prior to his upset? What do I mean by this? What if at WrestleMania 2023, The Rock faces Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns is still the champ. And let's say Roman Reigns has held the title at this point for about 900 to 1,000 days. The Rock kills the streak for the longest reigning champion, gets the title, and then on the same moment that The Rock takes the title and dethrones Roman Reigns after having almost 1,000 days with the title, Austin Theory cashes it in and beats The Rock at WrestleMania to then become the new undisputed Universal Champion. What a WrestleMania main event and what a WrestleMania pay-per-view that would be if that happens next year in Los Angeles for WrestleMania 2023. That would be one of the most phenomenal set of storylines to come together of all time. Roman Reigns at 900 plus, probably close to 1,000 days at that point, if he was able to retain the title all the way to WrestleMania next year. Imagine holding the title for that long and then losing it to The Rock, who returns, and then The Rock instantly losing it to Mr. Youngest Money in the Bank, Austin Theory, and then Austin Theory becomes your new undisputed Universal Champion. That'll be crazy if both Roman Reigns and The Rock both lose the title on the same night. That'll be ridiculous. What a fucking outcome. I'm putting that as my prediction. That's going to be my prediction. Yo, yo, yo. What is going on? John Moxley in the building says, good morning. Well, for me, John Moxley, I'm actually on Eastern time. So for me, it is actually good evening. I am at 9:57 p.m. Eastern time. So a good morning to you, but a good evening on my end. John Moxley says, which by the way, guys, John Moxley is a huge fan of Seth Rollins, just like I am. He says, any news on Seth? Yes, sir. So Seth freaking Rollins earlier tonight on Raw, um, he was actually talking a lot of smack behind the stage, saying he can do whatever he wants, he can fight whoever he wants. Basically, what happened was is that Kevin Owens, he hasn't been on the show for a while. Kevin Owens showed up, and Kevin Owens decided to host his KO show. Right, his guest he had was Mr. RK Bro, Riddle. Riddle shows up and says that he doesn't appreciate how KO is disrespecting him. Then Seth Rollins distracts Riddle with his entrance music. Riddle assumes that Seth Rollins is going to, come from the main entrance by the Titantron. Seth Rollins ends up surprising him, attacking him from behind, and he ends up giving the exclamation point twice to Riddle, and Riddle ends up laid out, and Kevin Owens does nothing to help him. Then, after that, Seth Rollins backstage is basically interrupted by Ezekiel. Ezekiel says, "You have no right to be doing this." And Seth Rollins says, "I can do whatever I want. I can kick whoever's ass I want, including you." So then Ezekiel and Seth Rollins end up having a match, which just occurred. And Seth freaking Rollins ends up defeating Ezekiel in a one-on-one match, and no one interfered in the match at all, which was kind of surprising that Riddle didn't interfere in the match, and that Seth Rollins won the match fair and square after being attacked earlier in the KO show segment. So yes, that is the big news for Seth Rollins. He beat up Riddle by surprise attack. He talks smack to Ezekiel backstage. He defeats Ezekiel one-on-one. And then he's also going to be having a match at SummerSlam. And the match at SummerSlam is going to be, I got to double check who it's going to be, but they just announced who Seth Rollins is going to be facing. So, yes, Seth Rollins also will be having a match. So we'll see how that goes. Let me double check to see if I can figure out who he's going to be facing off. I thought I took a note of it somewhere here, but I didn't. But give me a sec here. I'll figure out who Seth Rollins is facing at SummerSlam. But yeah, that's the news so far with Seth Rollins. Which I kind of wish Seth Rollins would have been maybe in a title match, but I guess that's not going to happen again at another big time pay-per-view. I'm hoping that Seth Rollins will get his push soon enough after he gets this. If he gets his victory at SummerSlam, I'm hoping that he gets a push, because man, this guy it's just been like, I don't know if they just don't know what to do with him. Oh yeah, that's right. So Seth Rollins is going to be facing Riddle at SummerSlam. That's right. That's going to be the match. That's the reason why he attacked Riddle earlier on the show when Riddle was being interviewed by Kevin Owens on the KO show. That segment, that's the reason why he attacked him. I forgot about that. So yeah, Seth Rollins attacked Riddle, gave him 2 exclamation points. Then he has a conversation with Ezekiel. Then he beats Ezekiel one-on-one with no interference and no cheating, and uses no weapons. And then he has a match scheduled at SummerSlam one-on-one against Riddle. Now we got Austin Theory talking smack, talking about coming through in the clutch, basically boasting what he's gonna do at SummerSlam, and then also explaining why all the wrestlers like Brock Lesnar don't like him. Just going off on a tangent right now, talking a whole lot of smack. And the fans are just like, what? He's like, Brock Lesnar doesn't like me. And they're like, what? He's like, John Cena doesn't like me, or whoever else he says doesn't like me. He's like, what? So the crowd right now doing the what chants like they used to do back in the days when Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the ring. John Moxley says, hey, I am John as well. Joined to like your video again from the account. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining again, Moxley. Yes, definitely appreciate you. You were here last week, and hopefully you'll continue showing support. Yeah, make sure to like the video, my friends. I think you've already subscribed, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, like the video and also share it in case if anyone else wants to catch any updates on Raw, or if they just want to, tune in to any of the future live streams as well. But yes, thank you, my friend. And John Moxley also says, who do you think is going to win? Will Rollins be an underdog again? And then he says, Austin Theory is shit. I'm not gonna lie to you, John Moxley. I actually like Austin Theory. Pause, no pun intended. I think Austin Theory actually, his whole gimmick is, I don't know, it's a little bit different. It's refreshing. Coming out with the selfies, taking the photos, kind of appeals to like the younger generation. But then his also smack talk kind of appeals maybe to like the older generation. And then also he's got the money in the bank. I think personally, if you didn't catch this earlier, I think that if WWE wants to do this right, they would make Austin Theory, and I just actually came up with a theory for Austin Theory. I think they should have Roman Reigns retain the title all the way to WrestleMania next year, have The Rock come back and defeat Roman Reigns because he is his blood in real life, his bloodline. And then to add on to that theory that I said last week, let's have Austin Theory come in and cash the money in the bank and win the title after The Rock defeats Roman Reigns, all in the pay-per-view for WrestleMania 2023. Now, I also want to add another thing to the mix. What if Austin Theory beats Bobby Lashley? Because he actually has a match against Bobby Lashley. So what if like Austin Theory defeats Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship, and then he holds that title all the way to WrestleMania, and then he cashes the money in the bank and wins the Undisputed Universal Championship. I think that'll be the first time that someone holds 3 titles in the WWE, because they'll have the 2 titles from Roman Reigns, and then he'll have the United States Championship from Bobby Lashley. Is that possible that WWE would love Austin Theory that much that they would actually give him 3 titles within a year? So that'll be very interesting. That's probably putting too much flex on it, but who knows? It might happen. But now the Phenomenal One came out and just talked shit to Austin Theory, saying that he's a jackass or saying he's dumb. And the crowd keeps saying what every time that Austin Theory makes a statement. And Austin Theory got pissed and says, say what one more time and see what's going to happen. And then the crowd says, what? And now Austin Theory is talking more trash, and the crowd keeps saying what, and he keeps getting frustrated. Oh, man, this is a funny segment. This crowd obviously does not give 2 F's right now about what Austin Theory has to say. The level of disrespect, man, is at level 100 right now. And now Austin Theory is accusing AJ Styles of not liking him because he's younger and because he's Mr. Money in the Bank. I thought these guys were having a one-on-one match. These guys are out here having a conversation for like the past 5 to 10 minutes. Ooh, Austin Theory says AJ is an old, jealous, grizzled veteran. Oh, shit. Then AJ Styles says, I'm the guy that's going to knock some sense into you, and then punches Austin Theory across the face, and Austin Theory rolls out of the ring. Oh, and Dolph Ziggler interrupting the segment, coming out in his suit again. All right, here we go. Dolph Ziggler yet again interfering into Austin Theory's business. He did the same thing last week. He ended up costing Austin Theory the match, and then he ended up planting Austin Theory in the middle of the ring. So again, Dolph Ziggler coming out here. I got a feeling Dolph Ziggler is going to end up costing Austin Theory the match at SummerSlam when Austin Theory faces one-on-one against Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship, because this is already 2 weeks in a row on Raw that Dolph Ziggler has mysteriously shown up in a suit, but yet continues to be a part of the business, a part of the match, or trash talking regarding Austin Theory. So this is the second time that Austin Theory is interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. So now it's on commercial break, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a moment for once the commercial break is over to see what Dolph Ziggler has to say, because obviously Dolph Ziggler is more than likely not having a match at SummerSlam from at least what we know so far. So whatever his beef is with Austin Theory, I almost got to assume and say that that is probably going to end up carrying over into SummerSlam, where he potentially will cause Austin Theory the fight against Bobby Lashley. Not that Bobby Lashley really needs any help winning and retaining the title, but I think that Dolph Ziggler is possibly going to interfere in that match. So we'll see how that one works out. But yeah, a lot of interesting segues here on Raw tonight. A lot of interesting matches coming up for SummerSlam. So yeah, we're gonna see, and then I think SummerSlam is gonna finally announce this mysterious wrestler that they keep showing these dark segments, dark little promos, but yet they haven't shown his face just yet. So there's some wrestler that's coming to WWE, and I presume it's gonna be on SummerSlam. John Moxley says, "No offense, brother. It's all creative team's fault." Yeah, I'll be honest, man. The WWE creative team, man, it's been a long time since the creative team has actually, done something right. I mean, there's some things they're still kind of doing right, for Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views, etc. Just WWE in general. But yeah, I just think that WWE, they always find a way to start things the right way, but then they always find a way to just screw it all up. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens at SummerSlam. Will Bobby Lashley retain his title? Will Roman Reigns continue his 600, 700 day reign? Will it lead into, WrestleMania next year? Will The Rock return, considering it is going to be hosted in Los Angeles? What's going to happen at the Survivor Series pay-per-view coming up in a few months? That's always a big pay-per-view. What's going to happen at Royal Rumble? Who's going to be the winner? So a lot of this stuff is still obviously months away, but I'm intrigued to see how different WWE is going to be as far as who's going to be the champions leading into Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania. And here goes another segment with another promo, again, for this mysterious wrestler that we have no idea who he is. Now they're showing a little bit more of who he is, but they still haven't shown the face. They show him now writing something in blood, and he's using, obviously it's fake blood, but yeah, he's using blood to write on it. Oh, look at these other wrestlers they show now. They show Rey Mysterio's mask, they show the Undertaker's urn, and then they show the picture of Seth Rollins. Oh shit, who is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? John Moxley says, I want to see Roman versus Seth versus McIntyre at Clash of Castle. This will be awesome. John Moxley also says, bro, it's Edge's bloodbath. Yo, there's this guy that's supposed to be coming back, right? And on the original segment that they showed last week for this wrestler, I have no idea who this wrestler is, but he has like a very dark image apparently. And they showed the Randy Orton logo and they showed the John Cena logo, right? The You Can't See Me logos. Those were the first two things that they showed last week. On this week's segment, earlier in the show, they showed the RKO again logo. They showed the John Cena logo, and then they added in the Mick Foley red and black flannel that Mick Foley would wear in his matches whenever he was Mick Foley. Obviously, when he was like Cactus Jack, Do Love, or whatever in Mankind, he would wear those outfits, obviously. But they specifically had the red and black flannel for Mick Foley lit on fire, and then they had the Randy Orton and John Cena logos planted around the promo, right? On the current segment, they showed I think it was Seth Rollins' portrait on like a frame. They showed the Undertaker's urn, and then they showed man, I just lost my train of thought. I forgot what was the other thing they showed. But yeah, they showed another segment with more wrestlers. So I'm trying to figure out, are these wrestlers that lost to this guy that's supposed to be either possibly returning, or is this guy kind of just a new wrestler that maybe is putting a target on the big names, and that potentially, he's going to be going up against some of these wrestlers, which would be kind of tough though, because Undertaker is retired, and so is Mick Foley, and John Cena is kind of retired as well. But it's just weird. Why are they putting all these like logos or symbols or photos of different people in these segments? Like, who is this wrestler? I think now, I was thinking initially it's a new wrestler, a new face to the business, but I'm thinking now it's got to be a returning wrestler, because why would they be showing these symbols and these logos and these photos of people from the past who have big names? So I think there's a returning wrestler that's coming very soon, and I don't know if he's going to show up tonight on Raw, because this is the first time that they show two segments, I think, on the same show, and it's two different segments this time, but for the same wrestler, and he's writing his blood on the like on a mirror, or I don't know if it's like on glass or something like that, whatever it is. The point is, this is very intriguing. Who is this returning wrestler? So very interesting. But anyways, getting back to Raw, both guys are in the squared circle. We've got AJ Styles and Austin Theory. Finally, the trash talking is over, going one-on-one in a singles match. Dolph Ziggler yet again on the outside of the ring, sitting pretty in a suit and on a leather chair. Pause, no pun intended. Austin Theory gets thrown out of the ring, and now Dolph Ziggler is over here standing up from his chair, looking face to face at Austin Theory, telling him, yo, you got to get your ass back in the ring. Oh, and Austin Theory puts his hands this time on Dolph Ziggler, which is something that he did not get to do last week. AJ Styles waits for Austin Theory to get back in the ring. Austin Theory gets in the ring, gets kicked in the face by AJ Styles, and goes flying back out the ring. Dolph Ziggler getting up, looking like he wants to go to potentially interfere and attack Austin Theory. And then, of course, WWE goes on a commercial break. So, yeah, let me see what the comments are. We have John Moxley says, maybe it's the Fiend and Edge. Fiend also destroyed them all. So, yeah, ironically, the fact that you said that is interesting, because that's actually something I said earlier on the show. I said that I almost think and almost feel that they're going to bring Bray Wyatt back, a.k.a. The Fiend. And I think maybe, who knows, maybe they're going to make his image darker. Maybe they're going to make his image different. Maybe they're going to make his image more gruesome, because now they're showing him with his fingers having blood on it, and he's writing like the names, or he's writing words on glass with the blood. So I'm almost thinking you're right. I'm actually on the same page with you on this one. I think it could be the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I tell you what, it would be a phenomenal return. And I tell you what, the last guy that the Fiend lost to, if I'm not mistaken, which was the last, I don't know if it was his last match, I can't remember, but I believe it was last year at WrestleMania when he fought. Was it last year? I think it was last year, because I remember seeing it live when I went to the Tampa, Florida show for WrestleMania. If I'm not mistaken, the Fiend showed up and had a little segment or a match with Randy Orton, and I believe he lost to Randy Orton, if I'm not mistaken. So therefore, maybe that's the reason why every time they show the segments, Randy Orton's name and his logo is the very first thing that they've shown so far in every segment. Then they started showing John Cena. Then they recently showed the Mick Foley shirt that he wears in the ring, the flannel shirt that he typically wears when he wrestles as Mick Foley or when he does interviews. That was lit on fire. Then you have the Undertaker urn. Then you have the Seth Rollins portrait. It's an actual portrait, an actual photo of Seth Rollins. And then they showed one other wrestler, and I forgot who I had mentioned. They had shown 3 different logos on this new segment. So they've shown 6 different symbols for 6 different wrestlers so far. The only one I can think of is Bray Wyatt. And you said the same thing. So who knows? We might be onto something here. This may potentially be the return of Bray Wyatt. And I think that's definitely good for business. So if Bray Wyatt's coming back, that to me is good for business. So we will see. I don't think they're gonna show him tonight. But WWE in the past has had similar situations where they will hype this returning wrestler and they'll make it seem like they're gonna segue that into the pay-per-view, and instead they end up doing it on Raw. So who knows? Is it gonna possibly be on Raw? Are they gonna wait till next week's Raw? Or are they gonna actually carry this out to SummerSlam and have Bray Wyatt interfere in a match? Now, with that being said, if they wait till SummerSlam, whose match is he going to interfere in? I almost have to say that I would think he would interfere into Riddle's match, only because Riddle used to be tag team partners with Randy Orton, and Riddle is still, even though Randy Orton's not around anymore, Riddle is still talking positively about Randy Orton, especially earlier tonight when Kevin Owens was trying to destroy the image of Randy Orton. Riddle took offense to that. So if it's held to SummerSlam, I almost want to say Riddle is going to lose his match to Seth freaking Rollins, potentially by interference of Bray Wyatt. Could be wrong, but we will see. Maybe that's what's going to happen. It's going to lead into SummerSlam, and that'll be the more likely match of where he's going to interfere. The commercial break is now over, and WWE back with the Austin Theory and AJ Styles singles match. Looks like they're back into the center of the ring. AJ Styles right now pummeling Austin Theory, and Dolph Ziggler watching like a cheerleader on the outside of the ring over there in his leather chair yet again. AJ Styles running over to the turnbuckle and lands a fist on Austin Theory, flips Austin Theory over his head, and then lands him on his back. Austin Theory, will he regain the title at SummerSlam? Let's see. While the match is going on a slower pace, let's see what Jon Moxley has to say. He says Ziggler on ringside means Theory loses again. Yep, that is absolutely correct. I believe Austin Theory is going to lose again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Theory tries to cheat and tries to put his 2 feet on the rope to try to win again, and Dolph Ziggler ends up removing his feet, costing him the match yet again. Austin Theory rose from the outside apron through the second rope, kick onto AJ Styles' face, and then lands AJ Styles like a brainbuster type suplex, head and shoulders straight to the knee, goes for the pin, and it's going to be a kick out, and Dolph Ziggler watching attentively. Dolph Ziggler looking very, very close to the action. Man, what a nasty brain buster onto the knee type of impact by Austin Theory onto AJ Styles. AJ Styles reverses and puts Austin Theory into a submission. Austin Theory quickly to the ropes. AJ Styles not able to keep the submission long enough, more than 3 to 5 seconds. Theory rolling out to the ring. Again, close by to where Dolph Ziggler is sitting pretty as the cheerleader, the distraction, basically inadvertently helping AJ Styles in this match. Oh, and Austin Theory almost runs into Dolph Ziggler while he had AJ Styles over his shoulder. Somehow he stops and prevents himself from running into Dolph Ziggler. Holy shit. And Dolph Ziggler smacks the fuck out of Theory with a super kick. Theory is laid out. Holy shit. AJ Styles is in the ring. Theory got smacked hard with a super kick by Dolph Ziggler. Theory, lackadaisical, has no idea where he is. Commentators trying to tell the referee that Austin Theory was laid out by the super kick of Dolph Ziggler. The referee gives no attention to what the commentators are saying. And unfortunately, Austin Theory loses yet again 2 weeks in a row on Raw. Dolph Ziggler costing Theory another match. AJ Styles gets the victory by 10-second countout. And AJ Styles lands the clash onto Theory, landing his finisher face first onto Theory. Theory, man, losing 2 weeks in a row, having no momentum leading into SummerSlam. Is Theory gonna lose possibly to Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship? I mean, he's lost 2 matches in a row on Raw. If he loses next week again, I don't know if Theory is even going to be on Raw next week. I don't know if he's going to even be scheduled for a match. But if he is, and he loses again, holy moly, guacamole. I think that Theory is going to be heading into SummerSlam potentially with a losing momentum and possibly having no chance of defeating Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. Dolph Ziggler with a smirk on his face, absolutely satisfied with the result of the match, a 10-second countout. Theory loses yet again thanks to Dolph Ziggler. Unfreaking believable. It's so unfreaking believable that you would have thought his name is Dolph freaking Ziggler because he keeps effing Theory every single time that he's had a match so far for 2 weeks in a row. They should give him that name instead of Seth freaking Rollins. Dolph Ziggler should be the one called Dolph freaking Ziggler because he literally is effing Theory right now. Effing him so hard using no KY jelly while he does it, screwing him over, figuratively speaking, for 2 weeks in a row on Raw. Theory, man, having no momentum so far, leading to SummerSlam, which is only 2 weekends away. Now that it is commercial break, let's go ahead and tune back into Jon Moxley, who is providing some nice commentary here. Jon Moxley also says that, yes, it was Randy Orton that was the last person that Bray Wyatt faced off with. And I think that that's the reason why Randy Orton was one of the first names that they showed the logo of in the segment for this week as well as last week. So, yes, could be the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, possibly be the one returning. I think we're on to something. And then Jon Moxley says, remember the cross-eye on Rollins' photo after Fiend beat Seth on Bray's Firefly Funhouse. Whoa, you are actually 100% right on target. And I was wondering, I was trying to remember where exactly was that photo from, because it's like it almost looked familiar and it almost like gave me a flashback, but I really couldn't put the money on it. I really couldn't remember where was that photo originally from. And you, my friend, got it right on target. That's absolutely correct. I believe I do remember that the Seth Rollins photo was on the Firefly Funhouse segments. So again, based on the Randy Orton theory that you just reminded me of, and then based on the Seth Rollins theory of the Firefly Funhouse, I think it is almost certain that this is Bray Wyatt making a return. And if I'm not mistaken, Bray Wyatt did light Mick Foley on fire. And that's why they had the red and black flannel shirt. The only man ever in WWE history to wear a flannel shirt in general, to my knowledge, is Mick Foley, because he doesn't dress very well. You know what I'm saying? He dresses like a bum when he comes to the ring. And the flannel is the most commonly used attire for Mick Foley, which was the red and black, which was, I believe, when he was lit on fire. And I believe it was by Bray Wyatt, if I'm not mistaken. So far, there's 3 big clues right there leading to the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I mean, amongst the other clues that are also, there as well. But those three, the Randy Orton, the Seth Rollins photo on fire, those 3 are huge. Those stood out to me the most. So, is it Bray Wyatt? Is it the Fiend? I think it is. If WWE screws this up and makes this a wrestler that has nothing to do with these segments, these previous matches, and all the different symbolisms that they're using, and it's some random dummy, this is going to be one of the worst hype ups to a return in WWE history. Because I'm tired of WWE doing that shit where they make all the symbolism definitely appear to be a certain wrestler, and yet they go completely left field and it ends up being somebody absolutely different than what it should be. So let's hope it is Bray Wyatt, because I miss Bray Wyatt being in the WWE picture. By the way, WWE is coming back from commercial break, and it says that the YouTube page has over 70 billion views, and that it is the seventh channel to ever reach that milestone. More views than FIFA, ESPN, MLB, UFC, NFL, NHL, and NBA. So Raw being the seventh highest viewed YouTube channel of all time. 70 billion views. Holy moly. That's a lot of damn views. And you know they probably have that shit monetized, so they're probably making a lot of bank off of the YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't pay a lot, but when you get millions or you get billions of views, you'll start making some bank. You'll definitely start making bank. Anyways, Moxley says, who is your personal favorite in WWE? That's a really good question. Well, if we're talking about in the past, my favorite wrestler or wrestlers would be The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, Bret the Hitman Hart, Ric Flair, the modern day Scott Steiner when he became Big Papa Pump, not the original one when he was the Steiner brothers. Sting, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash. I know you probably only asked one favorite, and I gave you like 20, but those are the guys that I respected, admired, and enjoyed watching on the TV. If I had to pick only one, though, if we're answering your question with one, my favorite of all time, undisputedly, is going to be the Brahma Bull, the Great One, the People's Champ, the only People's Champ, the true People's Champ, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock would be my number one favorite wrestler of all time. But if I could pick more than one, you now have the information of about 10 or 12 wrestlers that I admire and respect of all time. Those 10 or 12 are probably my top favorite wrestlers. But out of those names, The Rock would be my number one favorite of all time. But if I could pick more than one, those guys that I just named are definitely like on the top 10, top 15, top 20 of my favorite wrestlers of all time. John Moxley, let's see what else he says. He says, WWE is playing games with us. Everyone is thinking that it's Edge, but it's the Fiend that will appear. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think it's gonna be Edge. I think it's gonna be the Fiends. Or what WWE might be trying to do is they might be trying to excite us and make us think that it's gonna be Edge and make us think that maybe they're gonna excite us and make us think that it's gonna be Bray Wyatt, and then they're gonna screw us over and give us Edge. I think that's what they might end up doing. They might get us all hyped. Oh shit, Bray Wyatt coming back, the Fiend coming back, and then they're gonna screw us over and end up giving us Edge or give us who knows? Maybe they'll give us what was this guy's name from the Brood? Oh man, let me try to Google. I forgot what's his name. The one that had the vampire teeth. Gangrel. There it is. I just remembered it. Gangrel. I could only imagine if WWE screws the. I mean, I don't think Randy Orton was around though when Gangrel was wrestling. No, Randy Orton wasn't around yet, so it can't be Gangrel. But that would be some shit if they brought back Gangrel from the Brood, and that because he used to. The reason why I say Gangrel, here's the thing, and who knows, maybe the Randy Orton and John Cena symbolism is just to throw us off. Maybe it's to make us think that it's going to be Bray Wyatt. Maybe it's to make us think it's going to be Edge, right? But who knows? Maybe those are just like being thrown in there as like they're not really a part of who this guy is. Maybe it's just like a little spin-off to throw us off course to really figure out who it is. Because Gangrel, if you remember, he was the one that used to come out with the cup. He used to be the one that would come out with the cup and he would drink the cup, and the cup had blood inside. Allegedly, it had blood inside of it. And every segment they've shown they didn't every segment up until today was just showing the symbols of all the wrestlers, but they didn't show that much of the blood yet. Tonight they created the new promo where they actually show Undertaker's urn, and then they show Gangrel. I mean, not Gangrel. Look, I'm here thinking it's Gangrel. They show the person carrying the cup, and they're putting their finger in the cup, and it has blood in it, and they're writing names or words with the blood. The only guy that ever used to come up with that kind of a cup was Gangrel. Now, granted, Gangrel did not write the names of people's, the name of people with his finger dipped in the blood. So that's the only thing. So that would probably not be Gangrel. But if I had to make it a wrestler where WWE is gonna screw us all and really make us feel stupid for thinking that it was Bray Wyatt, and they want to actually destroy our hopes and dreams, which they probably will do, they're either going to give us Edge, which is going to be kind of a disappointment. I mean, it's not going to be a big disappointment, but it is somewhat of a disappointment because we want the Fiend to be the one that returns, right? So Edge is still a disappointment. However, Gangrel would be the biggest, most disrespectful, most atrocious disappointment of all time if WWE returns him and does not return the Fiend and does not return Edge. You know what I'm saying? That is going to be the biggest clusterfuck of all time if it's Gangrel. I would hate to be correct, and I would hate for it to be Gangrel. But I don't know why, out of nowhere, Gangrel popped up into my head as far as possibly being the disappointment that WWE is going to do at SummerSlam. A whole lot of predictions right now going on, so this is going to be quite intriguing to who at SummerSlam this will be. I think I'm more intrigued now than I was last week to figure out who is this returning wrestler. This is going to be very interesting, so we'll see. John Moxley also says, what I think you are off is going, who works full day, and for his viewers' entertainment work here as well. John, I'm not 100% sure what you meant by this statement right now that's on screen, where you said, what I think you are in the office going guy who works full day and for his viewers' entertainment works here as well. I'm not sure if maybe you were saying that you're basically expressing appreciation for me, being here for my viewers, for the entertainment, that you're showing some form of appreciation, referring back to me, thanking you for, obviously supporting the channel. I'm not sure if that's what that was in reference to, or maybe you were referring to something else. But yeah, care to elaborate on this statement right here that's on the screen. And then your last comment, John Moxley puts all the emojis laughing because I'm pretty sure it's in reference to the Gangrel prediction. The Gangrel prediction. I know that's a bit of a stretch. I know it's a long time. He's probably been gone out of the business for at least, I don't know, 15 years at least? At least 15 years, right? I know it's a bit of a stretch, but it makes sense to some degree. It makes sense regarding the blood in the cup. However, it wouldn't make sense, though, because he never wrestled John Cena that I could remember. I think he was way gone before even John Cena got there. Even before John Cena became Thugonomics and, the modern day John Cena was one of these basic wrestlers. But even then, when John Cena didn't have a gimmick, Gangrel was far gone at that point. So I don't think he ever wrestled John Cena. He never wrestled Randy Orton. So I'm almost going to say that Gangrel is a far-fetched prediction. But I will say that if it is Gangrel, I would not be surprised. That's all I'm saying. I would not be surprised simply because it fits the gimmick at least. Even if the wrestlers, right? All the wrestlers that they've shown so far, even if it doesn't fit that, the gimmick fits Gangrel. But again, going back, more than likely it's going to be the Fiends. If I had to pick one, it's going to be the Fiends. That would be my prediction. But I would not be surprised if it was Gangrel. And I would not be surprised if WWE shitted on us with Edge yet again. Oh, thank you so much, John, for John Moxley for recapping. Yes, so he says, "Yo, bro, we appreciate your effort." Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the appreciation and the support in the comment section, liking the video, and also, of course, being a new subscriber. Definitely appreciate you as well. Definitely, you're one of, even though you may be one of my newer supporters, you're definitely one of my biggest supporters. So I appreciate that very much for tuning in. Tomorrow, I may potentially do a live stream on Tuesdays. I usually do AEW Dark. However, NXT 2.0 tomorrow, even though I don't usually keep up with NXT 2.0 tomorrow looks very intriguing. So if I do a live stream tomorrow, potentially I may switch it up and I may try to do what's it called? NXT versus, instead of doing AEW Dark. However, AEW Dark last week was really good, and I kind of regret that I didn't do a live stream for it because it was really good. And AEW Dark is usually 1 hour long. Last week it was actually 2 hours long, and it was really, really good. So it's tough now to pick which one I want to do. But if there's a way for me to be able to do live commentary updates for both shows at the same time, I'll try to do both AEW Dark and NXT 2.0 simultaneously, giving the live updates if I can. If it's too much action, it'll be a little bit tough to keep up with because both shows, you typically NXT 2.0 has a lot of back-to-back action, and AEW, even on Tuesdays, has a lot of action too. All right, guys. WWE back from commercial break. 6-man tag team match, women's match right now. Right now, the 24/7 champion jumping off the third ropes and landing on Doudrop and also on top of one of her tag team partners. Oh, shoot. We got a new 24/7 champion. I have no idea who this guy is, but he interfered in the tag team match, the women's tag team match. He pins the champ, gains the 24/7 championship. It's some random guy that appeared under the ring, and then now he catches the finisher, and we have another new 24/7 champ, Mrs. Supergirl. Alexa Bliss, though, jumps in, gives the DDT finisher to Supergirl. Alexa Bliss is now your new 24/7 champ. Holy shit. And Doudrop does a splash on top of Alexa Bliss, almost kills Alexa Bliss, and ends up becoming the new 24/7 champion. Now she raises the title in happiness and relief. We've had already 3 different championships in the past 30 seconds for the 24/7 championship. Holy shit. Jimmy Snuka's daughter ends up giving a super kick to Doudrop. Doudrop gets pinned for the 3 count and new 24/7 champion. Oh, and right when she's about to leave with excitement for becoming the new 24/7 champion, she gets rolled up by the original 24/7 champ. Dana ends up getting the pin and recovers the 24/7 championship. Unfreaking believable. The 24/7 championship title literally changed hands like 5 times within one segment. And somehow I think the 6 women, I should say, tag team match was still somehow in play. Asuka ends up getting a submission hold onto Supergirl and ends up winning the match. How the hell do you have 2 matches in one? What the hell is going on? They had a 6-woman tag team match, which I thought came to an end because the 24/7 title ended up changing hands. Think about this. The 24/7 title was not on the line, but yet it became a part of the segment during the 6-women tag team match. It changes hands 5 times. The original champ Dana runs off after she recovers the title back after it switched multiple times. And then somehow the 6-women tag team match was still not stopped. The bell didn't ring, and Asuka gets the victory for her tag team. what the hell just happened in this fucking segment? Oh my gosh, this is nuts. John Moxley says I will surely join it. Thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing maybe a live stream tomorrow. Let's see how that all works out. We'll see if we could get either the NXT 2.0 or possibly get the AEW Dark matches, or potentially both. If I can do both, man, and I can keep up with the action, we'll do both. Because to be honest, AEW, like, their action is really quick. Like, they'll have matches that are like 3-5 minute matches, sometimes 30-second matches, and the shit just moves so quick that it's hard to keep up with AEW just by itself. So imagine keeping up with that and NXT 2.0. NXT 2.0 is usually pretty high impact action as well. So we'll see if we can do both. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And John Moxley back laughing it up again. Yeah, man, this is nuts. I don't know how you have a 6-women tag team match, and then you have a 24/7 title that changes about 5 times during a tag team match, and then somehow Asuka ends up getting the win for the tag team match. I'm thinking like the tag team match is already, like they did like a DQ, like it's a disqualification. Because I mean, the guy that came from under the ring is not even a woman, and he's not even in the match. But yeah, he wins the 24/7 title during the match. And I'm like, okay, so then the tag team match must be over. Correction, the tag team match was still going, and Asuka took advantage and wins the match. And then Asuka started doing a little sexy dance, like a little like cute dance in the middle of the ring of extreme excitement. Like, she was definitely feeling herself, because I have never seen Asuka dancing at the end of a match. So she was feeling pretty sexy about that victory. She was feeling good about herself. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. We have Mr. Awesome, aka The Miz, aka the supposed must see TV star. I'll be honest, I've never really liked The Miz. So for me, he was never must see TV. For me, he was must change the channel, or he was must turn off the TV. You know what I'm saying? That was what The Miz has been and always will be to me. Mr. Bathroom Break, Mr. Commercials would be better, Mr. Turn Off Your TV, and Mr. Not See is my opinion on The Miz, because I think, to be honest, he absolutely sucks. Yes, sir. John Moxley says, what do you do for a living? To be honest, man, I don't like to give out that info, because you never know, if there's anybody watching, like a crazy person, and they try to find you. But I work, I'll keep it brief. I'll say I work for, I do things like I work for insurance, and then I also, on the side, I do some music. I do like rap music as well. So I have some rap songs released on like Spotify and like Apple Music and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done the rap music before, and then I do on a regular basis. I do like insurance basically. So that's what I do. But YouTube, of course, is the other thing I like to do. I'm hoping to continue growing the channel as well for YouTube. I've been doing it for probably like 6 or 7 months, I think, roughly. So yeah, so it's been good. I had initially started YouTube probably like over a year ago, but I didn't take it that serious. I would do it like, once a month or once every 2 months or something like that. But now I try to keep it a little bit more consistent. So I'm trying to do it like 2 or 3 times a week. And I've been, pretty much doing that since maybe at least, 4 to 6 months ago, roughly, or even earlier than that. And potentially, if I have the energy for it and I have the time for it, I eventually would like to do YouTube for like five days a week, possibly, because I do enjoy doing YouTube. Whether people like the videos or not, whether people share the videos or not, whether people subscribe to the videos or not, Obviously, all of that's appreciated, right? I'm not saying I don't want people to like the videos, because when you like the video, it helps the algorithm, and it starts to share this video with other people who may potentially be interested in WWE content, AEW content, UFC content, NFL content, because those are the bulk of the things that I do on this channel. So that's why I always tell people, like the video, subscribe the video. If you want to share it, you can share it. You don't have to share it, but all I ask, bare minimum, is a subscriber and like all the videos. Because if you like the videos, it'll start sharing it to other people, and then eventually, we get new people just like yourself, and then they become kind of like a big supporter, and they're on here a little bit more frequently. They enjoy the content, and then they get to kind of talk things out. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say for New Year's Eve, the New Year's Eve that just passed, New Year's Eve, 2021 into 2022. If I'm not mistaken, I think my family didn't want to celebrate New Year's Eve this year, so I ended up not doing anything for it, I believe, and I stayed home. And what I did was, for New Year's, I did a live stream. I basically did a live stream. I drank some shots of Crown Apple. I think a couple of my cousins were on the live stream in the comments. A couple of my friends were in the comments. So I found it kind of rewarding and refreshing, because some people who were not able to celebrate New Year's Eve with family and friends decided to join my live stream, and I'm kind of grateful for that, because it shows that we could interact with each other, and we could and I could be able to share like a New Year's Eve experience, right, virtually, with the supporters. So that was pretty dope, because some of my cousins, and then also some of my friends, tuned into the content for New Year's Eve. I think that was New Year's Eve, the one that just recently passed, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another reason why I do the content, because sometimes these holidays will pull up and people don't have someone to celebrate the holiday with. And I think it's kind of cool, share the holiday with me virtually here on the YouTube channel. And yeah, it kind of helps to make a cool interaction, a cool experience, and it helps someone to be able to do something on the holiday, here on the channel, versus being alone, right? Because sometimes some people are alone on holidays, and that kind of sucks. So it was cool to tune in, to turn on the channel, and people actually jumped on. So that was dope. I believe it was also because it was the WWE pay-per-view. I think it was day one, if I'm not mistaken. I think day one was literally on day one. It was on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, something like that. So people tuned in to get updates, but they also tuned in because they didn't have anyone to share the holiday with. So they shared the holiday with me here on the YouTube channel. So yeah, that was pretty dope. So I digress on that, but I wanted to give a little bit behind the scenes of what I do, and why I do it, and why I enjoy the channel. And also was commercial breaks. I figure, why not answer that particular question, and then also go a little bit deeper on the YouTube channel as well. But right now, back from commercial break, we've got The Miz. The Miz right now is asking Logan Paul to come out. Logan Paul is scheduled to be here tonight. Oh, and Logan Paul actually shows up. Logan Paul actually showing up tonight to talk to The Miz. So this is going to be a very interesting segment. Logan Paul did have a couple of pre-recorded videos last week where he was talking shit to The Miz, saying he doesn't need The Miz. He doesn't want to be with The Miz. He doesn't want to be associated with The Miz. He doesn't care about The Miz. And he basically said The Miz backstabbed him. So I'm a little surprised he actually showed up after talking all that shit. But he's a man of his word. He said he was going to show up on Raw, and here he is. So let's see what he's got to say. Oh, Logan says, "Do you accept my challenge?" The Miz says, "Let's talk about something good, like the last time when we were in the ring together. It was at WrestleMania." So now he's showing the recap of when the Miz and Logan Paul were tag team partners against the Mysterios, and they defeated the Mysterios, which was 3 months ago at WrestleMania. And he's saying, let's go ahead and show the good times, basically. So he's showing the excitement, but I'm more than sure he's also going to show how he betrayed Logan Paul and planted him with the finisher. Oh, he cut it. Oh, he cut it off. He cut it off. The part where he betrayed Logan Paul. Logan Paul says, "No, no, 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 no. Play the rest of the footage and show the world what you did to me at WrestleMania this year." The Miz was trying to be slick. He cut the segment off right before he betrays Logan Paul at WrestleMania, and now Logan Paul requested that they show the rest of the footage, and it looks like they're playing the footage now, where the Miz absolutely betrays Logan Paul and plants him on his face with the finisher. And now he's looking at the Miz, and the Miz is like, "Hold on, let me give an explanation." He says, "Logan Paul, I was trying to teach you." Oh man, this guy. Ooh, Logan Paul says he had to sign the contract. He's got to come back to beat the Miz's ass at SummerSlam. The Miz out here plugging his being a two-time Grand Slam winner and also his Mr. and Mrs. show with his wife, Maurice, which by the way, I have no idea how this dude got Maurice. He's not even the richest wrestler. He's definitely not anywhere near the top 10, top 20 most successful wrestlers. Maurice must be madly in love or madly stupid to have married a guy like The Miz. The Miz to me is like one of those guys that they probably bullied back in the second grade, or even in the fifth grade, or even in the eighth grade, that probably couldn't get chicks back then. So I have no idea how he got Maurice, but the guy is definitely lucky and blessed. I'll say that. And he has a show with her too, making money. You know, Mr. and Mrs. The Miz says that Logan Paul cannot beat him because he has not been in the ring long enough. He says, "You can't do what I do. I've been in the ring for 18 years. You have not." He says, "You may be big in the outside world on social media, on YouTube, and other platforms, but he says, I have been in this business for 18 years. So you can't face me and defeat me at SummerSlam." He says Logan Paul is a rookie, and Logan Paul is disgusted. Oh, The Miz says that the challenge by Logan Paul at SummerSlam is denied. And Logan Paul taking his jacket off. Looks like he's about to lay hands. He says, "You don't think I'm tough enough?" Oh, he says that he was told he couldn't do well on social media in the past. He revolutionized it. And then he says, I was told, he says, I was told I couldn't beat Floyd Mayweather or go 8 rounds with him. And he says, and he's a part of my highlight reels now, throwing shade on Floyd to make a point to The Miz. He says his next point to prove is to beat the hell out of The Miz. Oh, he says he's going to come back next week on Raw. He's going to host his own show. Instead of it being Miz TV, it's going to be Impulsive TV, which is a shout out and a plug to his YouTube channel because it's called Impulsive. And The Miz still was not impressed by his speech and says, "You're still denied." Oh, Logan Paul says that the reason why The Miz, oh shit, Logan Paul starting a new chant saying that The Miz is scared, and the reason why he doesn't want to fight Logan Paul at SummerSlam is because he has two small blueberries, and he says he has tiny balls, and he has the audience chanting "tiny balls." The Miz ends up ripping open his button-down shirt And on the shirt it says hello. He says he has massive balls. Why is balls all of a sudden a huge conversation in this? Oh, and now the Miz says that he accepts the challenge for SummerSlam. Logan Paul, about to get attacked by the Miz, reverses it, ends up planting the Miz on his back, gives him a couple of punches, and then clotheslines the Miz over the third rope to the outside. Logan Paul talking smack. Oh, and Logan Paul getting attacked from behind by Ciampa. Not Tampa Bay where it's being hosted, by Ciampa. Oh man, Logan Paul getting attacked by Ciampa from behind. The Miz is back in the ring. It's about to be a 2-on-1 attack. Ciampa has Logan's face turned sideways. Oh, Logan Paul kicks the Miz in the face, elbows Ciampa, and escapes before the 2-on-1 attack. Logan Paul out of the ring. Logan Paul able to go ahead and escape. Able to escape unharmed. The Miz rips off his button-down shirt and has a t-shirt underneath that says, hello, I've got massive balls. Or it says, these balls are massive. What the fuck? Yo, WWE has got to leave this tiny balls, massive balls conversation. This is super HOMO, and it is a little bit too much for TV for the kids, especially in an era when this is supposed to be the PG-13 era of WWE. They need to let go of talking about the testicular fortitude and the genitals of the Miz, because this is just a little bit too much, bro, for the kids. I mean, obviously, when I was a kid, they used to say way worse things on WWE when it was called WWF. But I'm just saying, they're not part of that era anymore. So I don't know what is going on. Too much nutsack conversation. They got to turn away from this. Damn, this fine ass chick comes into the ring to ask the Miz a question, and the Miz takes the microphone from her and says, "There's only one Miz TV. There's only one wrestler like him, and no one gets to do this to him." He says, there is only one Miz, and he is awesome. He talked all that smack after Logan Paul already left. Logan Paul gets the upper hand against the Miz tonight, and then gets the upper hand on the 2-on-1 attack. So it is official, folks. Logan Paul versus the Miz at SummerSlam. It is officially on the card, and that is going to end the Raw segment. Holy moly, I did not know that we were already at the end of Raw. It is already 11 p.m. Eastern time, which is what I'm on, Eastern time. And yeah, so Raw has come to a conclusion. I did not realize we were at the end. But that was a pretty good Raw. Not, of course, a phenomenal Raw, but it was a pretty good Raw. And let me go ahead and end it with a couple of the comments from John Moxley, who was over here laughing at a couple of the hysterical things and crazy verbiage and antics that I was pulling off here on the live stream. And then shortly after that, he says, no problem. He says, you got to keep some things private. 100%, yes. Because you just never know, man. There's a lot of creeps and weirdos. Believe it or not, that women aren't the only ones that get stalked. Men actually get stalked too, surprisingly. So you just never know, man. I've been in the experience before where I've had either, I'll just say exes for lack of better words. Yeah, follow, try to follow you around. So, or crazy random people, whether it be women, fans, supporters, etc. So you gotta be a little bit discreet with certain things. But at least I gave you a little bit of the inside info of what I do in my personal life, as far as for a living. You at least know that I do something related in insurance. I do rap music, and I do YouTube basically. I do TikTok as well, but not as frequently as before. But that might be something I'll do eventually, because I want to grow that platform too. And then the final comment of the evening, again by John Moxley, says, Red Panty Night, Conor the Notorious McGregor. Speaking of Conor McGregor, I hope he comes back eventually to have another fight. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Conor McGregor is coming back for a fight. I forget what month it is. I don't think it's for the one coming up UFC 277 at the end of this month, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe around September, maybe August, something like that. One of the UFC pay-per-views, Conor McGregor should be coming back somewhere towards the latter part of 2022, the towards the ending of the year. I'm looking forward to that. I always appreciate his shit talking. Also, his in-ring ability, whether he wins or loses, doesn't matter. He always attracts, attention and always attracts a big crowd. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. John Moxley also says now they are part of the TV-14. Oh, so they, I guess they can talk about balls now because they're part of TV-14, 1 year older than PG-13. I still don't think. Well, then again, I was gonna say I don't think 14-year-olds should be talking about balls or vaginas or any of that other stuff. But then again, I mean, I grew up pretty fast. I was talking about all kinds of wild shit at the age of 6, 7, and 8. And I was talking crazy, doing crazy. So yeah. So I'm not surprised. TV-14, PG-13, rated E for everyone, mature 17, mature TVMA, whatever the rating is. I just figured WWE was kind of moving away from that, considering we're no longer in the attitude era, aggression era, or any of those other eras, in between. But yeah, it's a little bit too much talking about the crown jewels, a little too much of it. You know what I'm saying? They got to deviate a little bit from that. But yeah, with that being said, I wanted to say thank you to John Moxley for tuning in today. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. Even if you didn't drop a comment today, I still want to thank any of the fans, the watchers, the supporters, anyone who tuned in. I also want to thank anyone who tuned in over from the other platforms such as Twitch and Facebook, because if you guys probably don't already know, this is streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. I used to stream on Twitter, but I noticed that Twitter, that's more kind of like, it's kind of more for like having brief conversations than it is for actually posting videos. And I didn't see too much opportunity there. So I figured might as well just stream it on 3 platforms instead of 4 platforms. And before I was doing 4 different platforms and I was doing a total of 6 channels. Now I've reduced it to 3 platforms on 3 channels. So yeah, and it makes it easier to just keep tabs of it. And also these are the 3 that have been more significantly successful as far as attracting new viewers as well as maintaining the current viewers. So that's kind of the reason why I decided to downsize it, decided to go from 4 platforms to 3 platforms and go from 6 total channels to 3 total channels. I used to have 2 Twitches and 2, I think it was 2 Twitches and 2 Twitters. So I had a total of six channels on 4 platforms. But now I'm doing three channels, 3 platforms, just to keep it even, concise, and less work, less of a headache. But yeah, if you missed this from the beginning, the recap will be available. It's going to be available on Facebook and YouTube. Twitch doesn't automatically save live streams for some reason. So if you're on Twitch and you're a follower and you want to catch the recap, you'll have to switch over to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ola TV. And then you would have to add me on Facebook. Facebook would be Best Coach in the Biz. It's a very long name, so I probably will show you guys the usual quick promo that I show on screen so you guys can follow both of those. If you're already following me on those, then obviously you don't have to do anything further. But in case for those who have not already tuned in on those other platforms, let me go ahead and take a moment here to actually quickly show the outro that I use. Give me 1 second here, and here it is. All right, so those are the platforms. Those were all the platforms that I was typically streaming on. Again, as I stated, I'm not doing it on all of the platforms anymore. Now I'm just doing YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and I'm doing just 3 channels, 3 platforms versus 6 channels on 4 platforms. So that's where it is. I'm probably gonna have to get that updated eventually, so that way it'll only show the 3 main ones that I now use. But yeah, there it is: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Oh, and on Twitch, it's the best guy in the biz, all one word. And the best guy in the biz is going to be spelled differently at the last piece of it. So the best guy is spelled just as normal. The word in is in, and then after that, the biz is DABIZ. So it's spelled kind of like in a ghetto terminology. So the biz, kind of like in a slangish terminology. So yeah, the best guy in the biz. That's going to be my Twitch. Best coach in the biz is Facebook. Ola TV is going to be the one for YouTube. So you can type in youtube.com/Ola TV. And guys, just to let you know, the Patreon is now available. And I will end up, once I go to SummerSlam at the end of the month, I'm going to be adding behind the scenes content on SummerSlam. And that's going to be only for like more than likely, I'm going to do behind the scenes stuff only for Patreon members. So if you decide to subscribe, go ahead and do that. You can do that now. You can do it at the end of the month. You can do it at the start of next month, whenever you want to do it. It's going to be patreon.com/Ola TV. There's like 4 or 5 different tiers that I put on there. And for the smallest tier, the smallest tier starts at $4.99, which is dirt cheap, very, very cheap and expensive. And on there, you're going to be able to see behind the scenes. I haven't posted any behind the scenes yet. So if you don't want to subscribe right now, you don't have to. But the first one should be at the end of this month for SummerSlam. That should be the first piece of content that I post on Patreon. So I'll let you know about that. And then if you want to subscribe and catch the behind the scenes for SummerSlam, you'll be able to see it. I have floor seats, so you'll be able to see kind of like, a little bit of the interaction that I'll be doing, leading up to the pay-per-view, recording some of the matches, the intros, recording the stadium, and whatever else I do throughout the experience. You'll be able to be a part of that experience as well. So that's going to be available for patreon.com/Ola TV members only. I'll probably show you snippets or clips on the YouTube channel, but to prevent from getting flagged for copyright, because it may have music and stuff like that, or it may have the intros of the wrestlers, I'm going to put that content on patreon.com. That way it doesn't get flagged for copyright. And also it'll be for my, the people that want to, be even more supportive and want to join the behind the scenes on that. So that'll be at the end of the month, around July 30, 31st, around there. But with that being said, guys, this is the end of WWE Raw. I know that on the background it says Raw is War. That was my era. When I grew up, it was called Raw is War. Now it's just called WWE Raw. For me, I'm still, into the Raw is War logo. I think it's one of their best logos. I think it's one of their best, marketing selling points. So I love using it. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and close it out now, because the Raw for today, July 18, 2022, is officially over. But I wanted to at least give you guys a closing statement, as I did, showing you the platforms and also telling you how Patreon is going to be one of the next platforms that I'm going to be utilizing. The platform is already available to subscribe, but I just haven't put any content on the Patreon yet. So you don't have to subscribe right now if you don't want to. John Moxley says, God bless you, bro. Love you, and a very good night. Likewise, John Moxley, thank you so much. Thank you for the support, man. I hope you have a good night. Have a blessed night, brother. And then he says, yeah, bro, he's coming back. So, yep, we'll see how it goes. So thank you so much again for everyone that tuned in, for everyone who commented. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share with friends, family, strangers, co-workers, etc. Tune in. If I do a live stream tomorrow, you should be able to get a notification. And by the way, if you are on YouTube, make sure to hit the bell symbol so that you can get the notification. Because sometimes if you subscribe but you don't hit the bell symbol, what will end up happening is that it may end up not giving you the notification, or it may give you the notification relatively late. So if you want to be on time with the notifications and always get all of the notifications on YouTube, go ahead and make sure that you hit the notifications bell on your way out. God bless everyone. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Take care. And this is, again, July 18, 2022, Raw edition. Thank you so much for your support. Peace.